I created my own school, the Southern Kentucky Stallions, and we struggled in our first season. Last year, we went just 1-11, but we landed 3-star quarterback Todd Stark in recruiting, and even if he only is normal development, he's still the best quarterback the Stallions have ever had. His debut, along with a lot of other freshmen, will come on the road at Louisiana, and remember, each episode is an entire season at a time. Now, just looking over our roster, there's going to be a lot of positions that we're going to have to focus on filling, like running back, because after this season, 5'5" Jake Newman will be graduating and we have to move on. I'd like to say true freshman Rylan Pfeiffer would be a good option for us, but most of his skill caps seem to have to do with receiving instead of running the football, so he could be better suited to be a wide receiver, where our room is so much better than what we had last season. I want to highlight 6'5" Trey Ramsor. This guy's a beast. He also comes in with a shocking 93 speed. And we also brought in Juwan Markick, who grew up less than 2 hours away from Somerset. He came to Southern Kentucky for a reason, and Abdul Madden might enter the transfer portal, but at least for now, we have a tight end with 89 speed. So just glossing over our roster, I feel like we need to address our offensive line and defense more than anything else. Now, if you watched the first episode, you would know that I can only recruit 3-star prospects or lower from Tennessee and Kentucky, so that limits the type of guys that I can go after, but this player almost has my last name identically, and he's a gym, so we have to land him. We even look almost identical as well, and at the end of episode 1, I spent pretty much all of my coach points on this recruiter tab, so we only need another 10 to finish upgrading everything that I want. Of the 9 3-stars from Kentucky, a lot of them busted, one of them was normal, but we also got 3 gyms out of it, including a 93 speed wide receiver. So I like how the board's coming together, but we're also going to scout through the state of Tennessee. There we found 2 more gyms, including a linebacker with 86 speed, and then a running back with 92, Duke Fowler. We've had a Ben Fowler in a team builder series before, so he could keep the Fowler last name alive, but I don't like how many players are at risk of transferring. They should be excited that our school's now ranked in the top 130, and this stat is kind of crazy. We can only get 5,200 people to come out to our home games. We also only get 350 hours a week to spend on recruiting, so this is the only 6 players that we're going after at the moment, and the only good thing about that is they're all gyms, but we're ready for our first matchup against Louisiana. Of course, I don't feel great about playing an 81 overall team, and we have like one player that's over a 74 overall, but our team overall is a 74 overall, so overall will mean nothing in this series. I'd say if we're being realistic, we're probably about a 68, which is still a step up from season 1, but I'm sure we're going to struggle against about everybody. But maybe not, because now we have quarterback Todd Stark. In his first snap for Southern Kentucky, he's just going to hand this football off to Jay Newman. And the last thing that I filmed was playing with a perfect 99 overall running back, so you can imagine that this feels a lot weirder to run with, though we made the right decision on 3rd down, and our first drive stays alive. Now we're getting it to our 6'5 receiver, Trey Ramsor, who is going to have the speed to hit that outer edge, and what a play. Last year, we really struggled because we didn't have speed to beat anybody deep. I think this is Damian Dennis Jr., and he's one of the few backup running backs that we have. The RPO didn't work, making it 3rd and 6. Our offensive line's gonna have to block for long enough, and tight end Abdul Madden catches it. Not too bad of a start for the Stallions. Normally, we'd get held to a 3 and out. Now we have Jay Newman hitting the outer edge, and Jay Newman goes down at the 1. That's exactly what we're hoping to see. I'm going to keep it with the freshman quarterback, and Todd Stark has changed everything for Southern Kentucky. Our offense genuinely looked good out there, but there is one big rule that you have to keep in mind, and that's that I can only call the same play once a game, which could really hurt us. We're already missing a tackle. So nothing has changed with that since last year, but they're going nowhere. We probably still have to sit in zone coverage. I doubt man-to-man's going to do too much for us. I got to click on. And here on 3rd and 3, they're actually handing it off instead, but we weren't prepared for it. I figured they'd pass the ball, and now they're gone to the crib. We were not going to catch this kid. So to end the first quarter, the Raging Cajuns have tied it up, and this player has 94 speed. He's a senior wide receiver that's only going to see the field on returns. This is one of our final halfback stretches, and it was a good first quarter, but we have a long way to go. We haven't tried to throw the ball too much yet. We can also step up in the pocket, but that didn't work too well for us. Now it's 3rd and 8, and we just have to hope that our tight end fights for the first. As you can see, stuff like the halfback stretch is locked out from us picking it again, so that play call limit forces us to use the rest of the playbook, and I actually really like it. Damian Dennis Jr. is going to have a chance to bust off a big run on this play. He's kind of caught, but he gets the first. And I really like what I've seen out of our offense, at least compared to last year. He's breaking tackles over and over. Unfortunately, though, one of our players looks like he's hurt. He also held at the same time. So now it's going to be 1st and 16, and Cookie Williams is going to catch the RPO to get us 5. Besides him and Kingston McCarty, our receiving core is pretty brand brand new, he does have a little bit of an edge, but we still didn't get the first, making this a 3rd and 2 where Jay Newman is going to shoot up the middle. We've really managed ourselves well so far in this game. That's also an amazing throw. And normally we're bound to make mistakes, but we haven't had those yet. Jay Newman has nowhere to go here without that spin. But what I want to try is a play like this with those routes to the outside, which did not get open at all. I've seen it work for me in other situations, so I'm surprised it didn't there. We have the drag though, and we're just going to let Todd Stark take a quarterback zone up the middle. I also just realized I have to turn on chew clock. There's only a minute left in the half, but Louisiana does have a chance to respond again. I like what I'm seeing out of this team. It's a lot better than last season, though that zone coverage didn't go well. And our defense was definitely the better unit last year, but that might not be true for this one. It's too early to tell, but they're starting to fly down the field. I need their quarterback to take a sack, with Lucas Lake getting the first sack of the season, but they're in 5 wide and they're open. Running a cover 6 is kind of tough because on that cover 2 side, they normally give stuff away. But we're mixing in all sorts of defensive play calls since we can only call each one once and they threw it away. All right, we just got to make sure we hold them to a field goal. And I feel like we're going to. It's now 3rd and 10. I'm all over that route over the middle. So we're going to take a timeout because that sack forced them out of field goal range. And I want one chance to score on the final play of the half. That would be incredible if we could. It's setting up for a good season from what we've seen. But you also have to keep in mind, we collapsed in the second half a lot last year, and they're starting with the ball, so they're going to have a chance to tie it up. Our run D better get better. I can just tell this could be a disaster for us at some point. And I thought we were about to shoot up that gap with Scott, but it didn't happen. Now we're going to miss the tackle on them. I shouldn't even try to hit stick because it clearly isn't going well as they break another tackle. We had hands on number 7. Can somebody put him down? This is torture to sit through at the moment. All I want to do is hold them, though we could get the interception right here, and that's what we do with Dion Scott. The play of the game, he is going to get down the sideline, and that is our sophomore cornerback. I'm starting to feel real good about this one. Jay Newman with a burst of speed, the spin move to the right side of the field, and Jay Newman's 86 speed is just going to beat these defenders. The Stallions are off to the races, and I can't believe how well things are going versus Louisiana at the moment. All they seem to know how to do is run the football. Now they're trying to pass it, and on 3rd and 6, they're going to go with the play action. I thought they were actually running, so that was probably best case scenario for us. We almost had our hands on that football. It is a shame we couldn't get it right there. That would have changed everything. Now they're going to their running back. He is insanely fast, so we're probably better off just not trying to tackle him in the open field, though their quarterback has enough time to just scramble. Come on. I guess I need to make sure that we have a quarterback spy out there. Now they're lasering us over the middle, and this is what I'm afraid of. The computer's never going to go away. There's still a quarter left of football, and I no longer have my favorite running plays, but Jay Newman's getting loose still, and we just need our blocking to continue to hold up like that. We've collapsed in games before. That just can't be the case right here. They're ready for it, making it 3rd and 7, but we have the receivers that can get open on those corner routes, and it's off target. Todd Stark might have just sold us there. That's going to sting a bunch. Now they're getting the ball back almost near midfield against us, but that's kind of what I expected using a freshman. Now that 2nd and 9, they're probably going to go through the air. I'm all over the hitch route. I don't want to have to make a tackle here. That is terrifying. Nobody is doing it. Oh boy, now they're going to keep on moving it down the field. The read option we were not prepared for. We got to knock them down. And I'm trying to stack the box as best as I can to stop the run, but they've now busted it to the outside. If they want to do that, I'll just put 6 DBs on the field. It should make it easy to get a stop here. And I feel like the computer's not going to run in this situation, but they do get open. I think all we can do is just run commit up the middle. It's a jet touch pass, though. We were not prepared. Are you serious? I just watched Dion Scott get done so dirty. I cut to the outside because they're supposed to go that way, and it would have stopped them like 5 yards short, but that juke was filthy. Game on the line now, 21-all. We're on the road. I'm not liking our odds, but all we have to do is get down in field goal range, which is definitely manageable. Jay Newman almost got loose, and I almost want to try to beat them deep because they're pressing, but I'm not sure if we're fast enough or not, so we just went to our freshman receiver who's going to take it to the 45. This is the final drive of the game. We have to be able to seal our win. But now we're starting to have to use plays that I haven't really gone with that much, and the drag's all I feel comfortable with. 3rd and 7, we have 2 of them out there on the field for this play, and that's going to work to Abdul Madden, the tight end. But we're only on the 40-yard line. I know for a fact that we are not in field goal range yet. Come on, get out of there. We were so close to getting free. I almost think we have a touchdown right here, though it's completely underthrown. And back to running it is. We're going to pull it with Todd Stark to get a couple. And at least we're down the middle if we're not able to pick this up on third down, but I'm going to have to throw it away. Brian Hoge is the freshman. This isn't moving too much. We can hit this one down the middle. We're taking a 3-point lead, but there's definitely a pressure to choking. I've already felt it a couple times. We're just going to have to hope that their quarterback makes one bad read. They've already done it once in this game. And after spiking the ball, it's 3rd and 7 where we couldn't stick on number 30. I really don't like this 5-wide look. It scares me a lot, but we've everything covered besides right there. And at the moment, it's looking like this is going to be an overtime game, but we get the sack. That is so huge. They have no timeouts left. They have to spike the ball. And I'm using JUCO Rick Thorne right here. We picked him up. I knew where they wanted to go, and they've had to throw it out of bounds. This is the game. Everything is on the line. I just can't give up anything over the middle. And no. Louisiana has scored with like 10 seconds left. And I don't know what our linebacker was doing right there. I protected the stick so we drop back far and pick stuff like that. I cannot believe that we have choked this game. That was my greatest fear. And it actually ended up happening. There's only 6 seconds left on the clock. We're going to try to get out of bounds, setting us up for a Hail Mary where we do have a 6'5" wide receiver, but we're just going to have to get it all the way to the end zone. That ball is right there. Please catch it. No, they're saying we couldn't come down with it. I swear somebody got a hand on the ball. And Elijah Davis has ruined us having a great start to the year. Looking back on this final play, we almost had that one caught, but Abdul Madden got it knocked out. And if I've learned anything from this right here, it's don't protect the sticks and run cover 2 on a 4th and long. That type of defense got us our 1 win last year. I guess not this time around though. I'm getting the player that has my last name. We're still keeping an eye on all these 6 prospects, and I can't let that one loss get us down. We still have a long season ahead of us where I'm hoping that we're able to get at least 4 or 5 wins. I want to challenge for a bowl game. I think this roster is clearly a lot better, and we're just 2 weeks into the season, but we're already getting to hard sell on some of these prospects. With 1 loss in the 79 overall team, I'm not sure how Louisville is ranked in the top 25, but maybe that overall isn't accurate, and we'll see if we can upset them. We're coming off a heartbreaking loss to Louisiana, but we can't let it upset us too much because we still have a long season ahead of us, and starting on offense, first drive in the rain, you know that we're just going to run the ball as much as we can versus the Cardinals in this one. Jay Newman's going to get plenty of opportunities to take the handoff, and on 3rd and 2, I just have to hope our offensive line holds up as he's going to get enough. It's going to be a long day for Louisville if they can't figure out how to stop us on the ground. We're getting another big one right here, and we're just going to keep on going back to it. Jay Newman sees the open lane, but he's not that fast. If he had something like 94, 95 speed, I'm pretty sure he'd be unstoppable. And getting warped into that animation means that we are going to have to pass for it on 3rd and 9, but our tight end is open on that part of the field, so we have it. By the time he's a junior and a senior, Abdul Madden's going to be so solid. And even now he's good. I'm going to look for him on this play as well, but they're getting in pressure. We have fumbled it backwards. Thank goodness Washington has picked it up. This is one of our linemen. And for a second, he looked kind of tiny. We are undersized. It's 3rd and 21 though, and a halfback screen's going to have to pick it up for us. We might not have gotten it, but I know our kicker can hit from this far out because he has like 93 kick power. It's just about timing it up right, and I did not time it up right there. I shouldn't have put that type of pressure on the freshman. I just didn't want to punt it back to the Cardinals. That would have felt like a waste of a drive. And I could justify attempting a field goal, but not just going for it on 4th and 12. They're already starting to move it against us, but I'm sure that if we stack the box, we'll have a better time stopping them, which is why we've come out with 7 players down there, and that's what worked. On 3rd and 3, I'd assume that they're just going to go to the air, but they've actually handed it off, so they might never throw the rock. We're prepared for it this time around, but what was that? The computer just hit us with the craziest RPO of all time, and all I'm saying is we should not have gone cover 0 right there. Come to think of it though, I've run that same type of play before, so now that I'm aware it's existing for them as well, I won't try to stop the run like that again, and Abdul Madden is going to be open in order to hold on to this football and also get open to the midfield line. Getting us in this area is big. We're already halfway to scoring a touchdown against them. I'm also going to step up. I need a block right here from our running back because ideally with 3 minutes left in the first half, this will be the final drive, and I'd feel pretty good if we could end it with a touchdown. They also went with man-to-man, but I missed my read in the flat, and now we're going to take the fade route, which was open, but it's out of bounds. That was our moment to tie it up 7-7. I'm holding on the power too long. They're going to get this punt around the 10. They're not fair catching it. No one was down the field, and we've given them the chance to go up 14-0 against us as they're already about to have a big run. I'm glad we were able to catch him. Now they're throwing it instead of running it on 2nd and short, and that leads to midfield. I don't really know what to do defensively. Our zones don't seem to be playing their job. Like, we had a zone over there, but he just acted like he wasn't guarding that part of the field, and the same thing happened on the next play. Now on 1st and 10, I was hoping they'd throw the slant, but instead they hit their flat, inching them even closer. This is play action though, so we can rush in and try to get the sack. I've shaded underneath. I've pinched our linebackers and defensive line in case they wanted to go short, but it wasn't enough to hold them. I thought we were prepared for both the run and the pass. Instead, they hit above our cornerback. And the refs are reviewing if this is a catch or not, but he definitely got a foot in. They get ball to start the second half as well. This has just been a poor showing from us in this game. We almost got free though. And we're about to find out if we can throw it down the field in 42 seconds with some of our new receivers on this team. I actually think that we can if we're smart about the reads that we're taking, like this right here. Because if they run man-to-man coverage, we have a mismatch at tight end, but that didn't happen there. And it's probably best that I got sacked or else I was throwing straight into an interception. We're going to roll out and I'm just going to hope that we're able to go over top that zone. Instead, we stayed flat. I was playmakering, and they better not get into field goal range with 7 seconds left in the half. That's my zone right there. Okay, come on. Thankfully, they're just going to run the ball on this last play, but we got embarrassed in that first half. And if we want to come back in this one, we're definitely going to have to fight. It's a halfback screen, first play. They're already breaking 1 and 2. So as you can see, the rain is not helping our ability to tackle. We already couldn't do it, and it just continues to get worse. This is supposed to be a better season for us than what happened last year, but I'm afraid that it might not be. They're gashing us up the middle. At least in order to compete with what we did last season, we only have to win 2 games. That's not difficult. It's just the fact that we have a pretty rough schedule to start the year. And what are we doing over on that side of the field? Why did our cornerback just fall over? Oh my gosh. I literally pass committed. We should have played that ball right there. We're going to try to return this with our 94 speedster. And we're just in a bad spot if we're not able to score on this drive. If this is man-to-man coverage, I'm not expecting anybody to get open. They're going to be able to lock us down, which is why we just stepped up. And we play Kentucky next week, so things aren't going to get any better. I tried to beat them deep. We have to figure out how to pass against these better defenses if we want to do better against the Wildcats. We even get to play it at home. But first, we have to pick up this 3rd and 1, and Todd Stark is going to get it. I think rolling out is going to help us a ton as long as our line holds up. It's just I want to be able to playmaker the deeper routes in those situations. And that's what caused us to throw our first pick, but there was also a penalty on the play. Somehow we had an illegal man downfield. I'm not even sure how that happened, but it's all good. It was only a 5-yard penalty and our slant is open. We got it out in time. They probably thought that they were going to get that sack off before we got the throw off. That's what I mean with the playmakers. It can lead to huge gains. And imagine a 21-point comeback in the 4th quarter. That's exactly what we're going for. We've stopped running the ball, though we're about to take a sack. And we'll see what we can draw up on 2nd and 10. Nope, no time to throw it. This is going to make things a lot more difficult for us, but at least it'll be a 4th and manageable. And I think the only correct thing to do here would be putting it in the hands of Jay Newman. He's going to get open, but our blocks simply aren't there. To be honest, that does it. We're not going to come back at this point in the game. They're just going to run the ball a ton. And can somebody bring him down? At the end of the day, it finished 31-7. And I'm not happy about it, but we played a top 25 team on the road. Since we're losing games, though, it is going to make it harder to pull away on some of these prospects. As you can see, we're competing and it's about the same gains for each team, which means we're going to have to start scheduling visits, and I want to do it against Western Kentucky, our biggest rivals. That would be a huge win, but for now we do have to go against Kentucky, an 82 overall, which is going to be a night game at home. Now, they didn't focus in on Barrion Brown, but that's the person I'm most worried about stopping in this game, because we know with his 99 speed, we're not going to be able to press at any moment. And here on 2nd and 4, they just continue to run the football, but we're not able to bring them down again. It's like the first time we ever get our hands on a player, we're just going to miss the tackle. This is not setting up well for us. And here we go on 1st and 10, another run. I'm prepared this time. We're sending a blitz at Brock Vandegrift. We're going to make it. And now it's 3rd and 9 where we are running a Tampa 2 where we protected the sticks and we didn't pick it. There were 2 players in the area right there. And all I'm saying is we forced the computer into a terrible read and it still didn't seem to make a difference, but Jay Newman gets loose. It is a shame that he is not any quicker. He would be so good for us, but he is still the life of this offense, our best player on it for sure. And with the threat of him taking a handoff, we're actually able to throw the ball pretty well. Todd Stark still has a little bit of improving to do whenever it comes to escaping the pocket, but we're about to pick up the 1st down, and Damian Dennis Jr. comes into the game to take the handoff for almost nothing. We're going right back to it though. I think this trap play could go really well, and it's been a quick 1st quarter, but we're trying to establish a good running game. I believe this is 4 down territory, so we can go with the run on 3rd and short, but it got us caught on our linemen, so we have to throw it in this situation, and we've just fumbled it. If they pick that up for a touchdown, I think I would have lost my mind, but that's still frustrating. Now I'm prepared for them to go with play action. We're ready to stop the run too. And there's nothing about their offense that really scares me so far. It's just whether or not we bring them down. Barrion Brown hasn't been used that much. On 3rd and 12, it's a halfback screen. We just have to hit them short, and now we're getting the ball back, even though that punt looks like it's about to be really good. Inside the 10-yard line is not a fun spot to start a drive, and I'm convinced convinced these offensive linemen don't want to block for me in the right ways. No, that was a safety. We have gotten so lucky. Somehow that ball is being spotted on the white line. I almost stepped out of the back of the end zone, but with the halfback screen, we have a chance at picking up the third down. I think we would have had it too if we didn't get caught on that one player. Now they're returning it with Barry and Brown. Oh gosh, this is where things could get a little scary. I'm not sure why he's their third wide receiver. I just watched him take off though, and they throw it to our zone instead. Bryant's gonna get the interception. I'm pretty sure I manned him up with Dane Key, and this play is gonna make it 7-all. Kareem Bryant just came up so clutch for us. Now we're going for the blitz on the play action, but Barry and Brown gets loose out of it, and this is what I was afraid of. You've got to be joking. He just outran everybody. I knew it was coming. I just didn't think it would there. And that was literally a perfect response for throwing a pick six the play before. We have 2 minutes left in this half to respond back. Our running back was caught on the line for a split second, but eventually he was able to get out of there. And on 3rd and short, we have to make sure we go down. I didn't want to risk dropping the football, but the refs are still reviewing. And I couldn't tell you what they were looking for there. Now we're going to wait for Abdul Madden to make his cut. That ball's put perfectly on the money, which should have led to a huge moment for us, but instead we're now throwing it up to a 5-5 receiver. In order for that to work, I needed another second in the pocket. We're not going to have enough time here either. So once again, we're punting it back to Kentucky. They almost hit our punter, which would have been a flag. Unfortunately, they didn't though, and Barry and Brown is getting loose. If we want to win this game, we're going to need another pick six. Another mistake from Brock Vandegrift. Doesn't seem to be happening here though. And I'm not sure if it's going to do us any good to have Barry and Brown manned up. That's what I did on this play. They made that catch in bounds. But anyway, I am going to have Barry and manned up every single play because I think it would make a difference. You mix that in with zone coverage and they're going to have to find somebody else. They're getting way too much time in the pocket though. We should have gotten a sack. It might be time to run commit though. They did throw the ball and I thought they were running because of the motion. That is unfortunate. We still need our offense to come alive in these final seconds though. We can't go scoreless. I'm not counting that defensive touchdown. When it comes to the offensive side of things, we haven't gotten in. And at the minimum, we could get into field goal range before the end of this first half with some good throws. The only issue is this time around, we're going to have to get to about the 30-yard line and we don't. So it's going to be hard to hit this 54-yard kick, but the game is saying that we can, and I missed it to the left. However, they decided that it would be a good idea to hit our kicker after the play. So true freshman Brian Hoge is getting another opportunity, and this time around, he's going to hit it. That means we're only going to be trailing by 11 points, and getting this ball first to start the second half is a big deal. We might not have been able to upset the Cardinals, but we still could against Kentucky. That's going to be picked for sure. And there's actually no way we've been bailed out with this. They're showing the instant replay. I'm not sure what happened, but that's 1,000 IQ from Trey Ramsor to pick up that ball after we were about to drop it. I really love the true freshman that we have on this team, though that didn't work. And this is not good. We have to pick up this 3rd and 8, at least make it a manageable 4th down to where I can justify going for it, because this is the only way that we're staying in the game. We have our hitch route, and he ran backwards. It looked like for a split second, Cookie Williams was going to cost us. Thankfully, we still have it. The jet touch pass is going to lead to a big play. He's still fighting. And if this is cover 1, I'm looking back in Trey Ramsor's direction, but it's not, so we got to go to our running back instead. I think between this and the Louisville game, this is going to help us build a lot of character for the rest of the year. We're just going to slide and still fumble it away, which is ridiculous. I literally did the right thing, and they almost threw another pick six. That was our moment right there. We were driving down the field to get it back within a possession, and the fumble means that we have to hold them. I've switched stick to someone I didn't know I was on, but we still got the sack, so we're getting it back. That was Lester Sheets on the end of that one. We have our 94 speed returner coming in here, juking, and he's going to break a tackle too. Hang on, could this be our first return of the year? Keep on going. It's almost like the fumble didn't even happen with where we have it back on the field now. But the plays that I actually want to run are starting to dwindle down because we're later on in the game, and Jay Newman still does it. We're about to approach the 4th quarter. Last time we ran a read option like this, I didn't slide in time, so I'm doing it early. And on the final play of the 3rd quarter, they are all over it. If we don't pick this up, I think we have to go for it on 4th down instead of kicking the field goal, though Jay Newman looks like he's gonna get it for us, and he fumbled it away. I have to throw the challenge flag. That's ridiculous right there. We'll see what it shows on instant replay. And it seems like his knee was on the ground whenever he dropped the ball. That was such a clutch decision. The refs have overturned it. We're about to punch it into the end zone, and we might just have to do it with a quarterback sneak, but we're still getting held up. They're not making this easy. Now we're gonna attempt a fullback dive. Finally, we get it. But more importantly, there's still a 2-point conversion, and it didn't go well. We know what we have to do. The real question is, can we do it or not? They're gonna bust off of that tackle just instantly. They didn't even go down. So we all know it's gonna be a struggle to get them off the field. On 2nd and 13, Brock Vandegrift's making a lot of adjustments, so I figured they'd probably be throwing the football. I could intercept that slant, Why do they have all the time in the world, though? We need to send some players. I'm like hitting buttons, and I was lost right there. I'm not gonna lie. I couldn't figure out who I was on. I was just panicking, trying to stop him. Bring this kid down. And that's just so unfortunate because they're starting to chew the clock. They faked me out with that little handoff, and they pick up a first. We can't allow them to pick up any more first downs. I am run committing. I've sent everybody at him. And we'll do that same thing 2 more times as it's about to be a 3rd and long. They'll probably throw it here, so I couldn't run commit again. They got me with the play action somehow still. And we're very lucky that Kwame Grant got that sack. We're going to have about a minute and a half to respond. We have to get a touchdown in the 2-point conversion, but that would send this game to overtime, giving us a chance to actually beat Kentucky. I think we can pull this off. The question is what type of coverage they're running. That's cover 3. We can dot that up all day, except that's when Trey's finally gonna drop a catch. Now our running back is just waiting to get open. We're trying to beat him deep, and look at that. Jay Newman is streaking down the field. All he has to do is outrun number 3. Keep on going. I have been waiting to hit that play in this dynasty, and I think we have to throw it on the 2-point conversion. The last play call didn't work too well for us. We have our drag open, so it is 24 all, but I am a little bit afraid that we have left them too much time on the clock. I couldn't risk going down short of the end zone. That would have been the wrong move. Barian Brown gets open, and I'm not sure what their field goal range is, but I'd expect them to be in it now. With no timeouts left, our best move might just be sending a blitz and hoping that we force them to make a mistake. Actually, I'll let them get in because now we have 53 seconds to get a touchdown of our own, and I think we've beat them deep. They decided to press Cookie Williams. Keep on going. He's going all the way to the 10. Now, I'm already thinking whether or not we should go for the 2-point conversion, but before we snap the ball, apparently somebody false started, so we can't get too far ahead of ourselves. I feel like we do just fine in overtime. I don't really want to risk going for the 2-pointer, and with no timeouts left, we have to be a little bit careful. We have our receiver open, though. I floated it for too long, and I just panicked and possession caught it when we needed to run with that after the catch. There's 5 seconds left. Snap the ball. I'm literally spamming it. Oh no, this is not how we're going down to Kentucky. Our quarterback's acting like he's hurt after a terrible read, and you can just see where the true panic set in. This is definitely the worst way that we could have lost in this dynasty, and all of the energy and excitement that I just had has been washed away. We have some other games coming up, though, that we could still win. I can't be too upset. We got the gym running back Duke Fowler to commit, but the more games we lose, the more players that are going to want to transfer, and the Hilltoppers are trying their hardest to catch us on some of these gym 3-stars, so we're just going to schedule all of them for a visit for this game. I've also discovered a quarterback with 90 speed, magician, and field general's abilities. This would be a great start, but assuming he is normal dev just like Todd Stark, he's not going to be much better for us because as you can see, like Todd can't improve on his accuracies at all. Skill caps hurt us, and now we have to go on the road at 2-0 Marshall, who might be undefeated, but they haven't played a single conference game yet. Between with the way that the game against Kentucky and the game against Louisiana ended, we are due to finally get a win, and we're rocking our gray jerseys in this one. They're getting the ball first. We have a chance to get a stop, but they have a senior quarterback, which doesn't make things easy. That guy's going to come with a lot of experience. First play's just a handoff where they juke one of our defenders. They break a tackle from another. So that's why I always click on and try to hit stick. It feels like the only way we're going to get it, though we have been beat deep, and it took them 2 plays to score. Nice to know that the Thundering Herd have their own version of Barian Brown that's going to be able to do that to us all game, though that hole up the middle was so free, and I thought we were about to score a touchdown. I am thirsty for a kick return touchdown. I'm not going to lie, this RPO goes nowhere, and I don't know if that was a crazy thing to say or not, but I seriously mean it. I want to get a kick return touchdown so badly. For now, though, we're just going to run this jet touch pass, get Ramsor out in space, and the blocks picked up almost perfectly. The hurdle attempt was kind of crazy, but if we pulled it off, it would have been cool. And I'm not sure what I'm doing right now. I need to be feeding it to Jay Newman. He's our best player. It's already 3rd and 15, though we're going to have that cut, and we have to hang on. Though apparently freshman Juwan Market got his hands on the ball right here and just let it slip. Now we have to punt it back to them on our first drive. That's not what I wanted to happen right there. They're even getting a chance to return it. So this is not the way I was hoping we'd open things up against the Thundering Herd. We know that they can beat us deep too, so we're kind of having to back some of our players up, and I hope that doesn't cost us. On 3rd and 10, they went with a halfback draw instead of throwing it. So it's like the computer knew to adjust to us backing up some of our DBs. The CPU on this game is so much smarter compared to NCAA Football 14. I will give them that. But I think it's a good thing. It will be difficult for us to ever win a championship. Then if you factor in the fact that I have absolutely zero composure whenever stuff gets difficult, we could be running this series for a very long time. I don't want to fall to 0-4 though. I feel like this team's much better than that. Don't break a tackle. And just the fact with forward progress that they got a first down is is so disappointing. Now it's 2nd and 12. I'm prepared for the pass. We don't have the best man-to-man though, so we couldn't hold them. I'm just gonna run commit. I figured they'd do something here where they get in. We better step it up quick if we want to avoid falling to 0-4 this year. And part of me still thinks we could be good enough to make it to a bowl game. I'm not sure why. I feel like with the way we competed in those first couple, we just have a roster that can win. But we have to end this first half with a touchdown if we even want a chance at that, and that's a pretty good throw. Now we just have to hope our offensive line can hold their blocks on a 3rd and 1, and they did for just long enough, though this play we're gonna have to throw that ball away. Now we're hitting them with the halfback screen. You know we had to pull it out, but Marshall did not want it to work for us. We're gonna have to wait for our crossing route to get open to Abdul Madden, and he catches it. Unfortunately, some of my favorite passing plays have already been used though, which isn't good for us, at least throughout the rest of the game. We'll take some drag routes and try our best. This is a huge 3rd and 8. I feel like Jay Newman's open over there in the flat, but we're gonna go for it on 4th and 4. He didn't get everything that we needed there. I'm stepping up. I trusted Todd to get it for us. Somehow still 51 seconds left in this first half. I mean, time's going by slowly, but neither of the halfback screens, which normally do so well, have done anything for us, and we got a slide. We're at the point now where we should probably pull out the speed option. I forgot that we had this play in the playbook. Jay Newman just scooped that ball up, and if he would have missed it, it would be 21-0. There is still 31 seconds left on the clock though, and they have 2 timeouts. They're going to get in field goal range. At least that is my expectation as we start this drive, so I'm not going to be disappointed when they do. I'll give cover 2 man a shot. I just know that it probably won't work. And hang on, that actually almost went really well for us. They're trying it again, but this time they catch it. That's what I'm talking about. They were always going to come away with something. Now they're inside the red zone, and of course they're probably going to hit this field goal. We tried our best, but we're going into halftime trailing by 2 possessions, and that makes it so much harder to come back. I have a feeling this could turn into a year like last year where we just try to get wins. And so much for our roster being a lot better. It hasn't seemed to make a difference, and I thought Jay Newman was on a curl route. That's going to look like a terrible read, but in my defense, I thought he was about to stop around that first down marker and chill. So thankfully, he's made it a 3rd and short for us where he is fighting for the first. I like what we're doing so far to start this second half. We're going to hit our backup running back, let him get a couple. And if these blocks pick up well, we could have had a big gain. Instead, though, it is 3rd and 10. That looks like it's going to be cover 1 that we can take advantage of. And the only reason we could even pick that up is because we had the inside leverage on 6'5" Trey Ramsor. He's doing well for us so far this year, and probably my favorite receiver outside of Abdul Madden, though this freshman's also a beast. And Juwan Market gets it back within 3 points. We just have to get them off the field 1 time here. A bad read would be perfect. And it feels like we kind of have them figured out at the moment. I think we're going to make it a 3rd and short. So we'll just shade underneath with a Tampa 2 look. And please throw me this ball right here. I'm all over it. That is huge. We're getting the ball back. Now we're going to try to return it. And we were about a second away from getting a huge play there, though Todd Stark can still make something happen as he sheds 1 tackle. As much as I complain about the broken tackles when I'm on defense, it does make this a lot more fun. And I don't want to go away from feeding it to Jay Newman, but if we don't get a big gain on this run, we're going to be in some trouble. On 3rd and 4, it looks like they're about to get in immediately. And I had a plan there. I just couldn't do anything about it. That punt is also terrible. At least it bounced. But now we have to get another stop. We can never come up clutch whenever it matters the most. They're about to get another breakaway touchdown. Like, can we please make a tackle? Brian Robinson has done that not once, but twice in this game. The jet touch pass allows us to get a little bit loose. But time is of the essence, and we might have our 89 speed tight end deep. I tried to beat them with it, and he's going to shed the tackle, march his way into the end zone. Yeah, this is disrespectful. Abdul Madden is such a fun tight end, though. And we've got ourselves a game headed into this 4th quarter. Read option is fooling everybody, though. Somebody please just get over and hit this quarterback hard. A fumble could have been nice, but I'm also going to adjust our option keys. So that shouldn't burn us again in this game, and of course they're going to get at least 10 or 15. I can't bring too many people down into the box just in case they do throw it. What are we doing, Valentine? We just keep on letting them score easy touchdowns. So even though it's one of our better offensive games in this dynasty, I'm not sure it's going to make a difference because we can't hold them. Todd Stark is literally having a career day, though. This isn't good. And we'll see what type of coverage they go with on 2nd and 10. I might just have to step up. We need some blockers, though. That's why I ran over to this part of the sideline. It's always scary handing it off on 3rd and 1 to a 5'5" running back, but he actually had a huge hole. And if they go with man-to-man coverage here, we'd have a touchdown, but instead it was zone where they've gotten back to that route. I got baited. I'm not going to lie. That was really good of them. It's embarrassing, but we're falling to 4-0. And the Todd Stark era is not off to a good start, even if he has played pretty well besides some user errors. I'm definitely more comfortable on the offensive side of things this year, which is a good thing. but everything's starting to fall apart. They recover a fumble. And if they pick up this 3rd and 6, it's only gonna get worse for us. I've been trying to get them off the field, and we should do it on this 3rd and 10. But the issue is there's only about a minute left, and we're down by 20. Todd Stark's had a couple of costly turnovers that are gonna end it. But we're just gonna keep on learning from every loss that we go through, and that really includes targeting Abdul Madden. He has been super consistent for us. He's also gonna get open on the corner route. And then we'll see with this play if any of our players can actually beat the press deep. I think we might have done it with this one, and we did. Juwan Markix making stuff happen, but as you can see, like, every single play's locked for us. So that just shows how many times we've thrown the ball in this game. It was probably too much. I really want to end it with a touchdown, but I'm terrified of throwing an interception. We're going to try to scramble, and they're all over it. Oh, well, it's 4th and goal now. We had them beat here, but I saw it a second late, and we still have a lot of work to do if we're going to pick up our first win of the year. It's always a bad 4th quarter that ends up costing us, and after advancing the week, you're going to see that we still haven't picked up any more commits. It's going to take some time, but we're about to play at home against Georgia State. They are an 80 overall, and that's never an easy team to take down, but it is winnable. This is the one team that we were able to beat last season, but I highly doubt they're going to let that happen again. So we're just going to have to play a really good game, and with the first RPO, we go for a 2. I'm actually excited for Jay Newman to graduate, as good as he's been for us, just because I want somebody a bit quicker and also a little bit stronger. I think we're going to have some good options next year. He breaks that tackle, though. He's still fighting. And now we're going to throw our first pass of the day. That was man-to-man coverage. We definitely got bumped on that play. But if we didn't, I think Trey would have gotten a ton of separation. Now we're hitting him with the halfback screen, and it's going to be 3rd and 6. I know how this game went last year, but I'm nervous that we're not going to be able to do it again. We're scrambling right here with Todd. He has the speed to do it. And I always try reverse of some sort. They don't normally go that well, though. That might have to be the last time that we do that. It was just a waste of a play, though. We're making the catch. And the fact that you have that much control of where the ball goes is such a great feature in a game. I love it. I know College Football 25 isn't perfect, but it is far better than Madden. That's all I'll say about it. And if EA can build on this foundation correctly, I think we're in for a good few years. Now we're on a 3rd and 2, though. I'm going to pull it no matter what. And that was the wrong decision. They've stopped us. We have to kick a field goal. I have to keep in mind, this is a different Georgia State team than the one we beat last season, but I still have the expectation that we're going to take them down. And I just want to get a win so bad, especially after we blew that one to Louisiana in the first game. Since that moment, that's all that's on my mind. And we'll see what they pull out on 2nd and 6. It's the read option, so we're just going to adjust our settings. On 3rd and 1, once again, they're handing it off, but we didn't have enough people. So for this next play, I have a blitz set up, and it goes so much better. They haven't really done much to impress me. Now they're throwing it. I figured that they'd have something like a hitch route open, but we didn't bite on anything too aggressively. And on 3rd and short, we just got to hit them hard. It was hard to tell, but we did force them to miss it. I thought we just hit the punter right there. I was so nervous they were going to call a flag. And the fact that they couldn't make that catch could literally win us the game. We have a chance to end the first half with a 2-possession lead, or even just go up 2 possessions. But we got to be careful as well. They've already gotten us to a 3rd and 5, and the pass is off target. It was looking so good for us right there. This punt isn't great either. I wonder if they're going to catch it. I can't really get mad at Todd Stark. He's going to do stuff like that as a freshman, especially since his accuracies aren't perfect, but some of those missed passes are driving me insane, and we get the sack. Cover 4 palm should work well for us right here. They just went with the halfback screen. We did drop almost everybody back, but apparently it was marked as a 4th and inches, so they have no choice but to punt it. And what on earth are they dealing with when it comes to their punter? These are some of the worst punts that I've ever seen, and if they run man-to-man coverage versus our tight end, because Abdul Madden is 89 speed, we're going to win that battle. Very few linebackers are keeping up with that. I'll continue to go back to the drags because he is just so good, and I think we've handled this first half pretty well for not playing the best offensively. At the moment, I'm just chewing some clock, so this is the final drive. But I don't want to only settle for a field goal. I want to get a touchdown, so we need this zig route to actually be caught. This hurts to see, knowing Trey Ramsor normally holds onto the football, but he couldn't here. And I can be happy with 6-0, but that can all go away with 1 touchdown. I'm sure they might try to get into field goal range with a play or something, but they actually just handed it off. And that made this a very boring first half. It's a defensive battle. They have 10 rushing yards and 20 passing yards, which is pretty crazy for 12 minutes of football. I think we do a good job of keeping the clock on our side, though, and look at that. Bryant's gonna get the interception. That's what we needed right there. He's another one of our sophomore corners, and that play from Kareem Bryant is gonna allow us to take a 2-possession lead, maybe even on this play, as Jay Newman goes all the way inside the red zone. We needed a defensive stop like that so badly, because for the first time this year, besides the Louisiana game, of course, I feel really confident about us pulling off a win, though they're about to stop us on 3rd down unless Todd Stark can fight all the way to the 1. That was a little bit risky. He could have fumbled the football, but instead, Damian Dennis Jr. punches it in. Now we have a 2-point conversion to get, and Georgia State is going to force a fumble out of it. Hang on. If they pick this up and return it all the way back, that'd get their first 2 points. I'm glad they couldn't make that happen, but 12-0 is an ugly score. And we'll see what they draw up on this play. I'm ready to intercept everything. I think this game is a great example of why team overall means nothing in Dynasty. Because even though Georgia State's supposed to be an 80, they're clearly the worst team we faced. And they've made our defense look good when normally it's spread wide open for anybody. The running lanes are normally the biggest ones on the planet. Not today, though. And here we go. It is 3rd and 6. I figured they'd probably have somebody open, but not this guy going all the way for a touchdown. I'll admit, we shouldn't have pressed here, but we also shouldn't have just hovered around for a couple of seconds. I'm not sure what number 2 was thinking. It was Kareem Bryant, so I can't really get upset at him. He's the only reason that we're winning. But now the thought of choking has popped up in my head, and what are we doing? I literally cannot do this for another game. We've got to beat the man-to-man coverage. And what is this right here? Trey Ramsor just runs straight into another player. This is not good for my mental health. They're about to hit us though. Wait, what? I have never seen this happen before. How did we not get the punt off in time? This is the stuff I'm talking about. The game just doesn't want to see us win. And like, I literally don't even know what I could do differently there. This is such a huge play to start this 4th quarter, and they had someone open. We actually just got so lucky. Now it's 4th and goal. I think the Tampa 2 works perfectly down in the red zone. They're throwing it short. Thank you. Georgia State couldn't take advantage of the perfect setup. We're about to take a safety though. And I'm terrified at the moment. We just got to hand it off and hope that they're not able to catch us before we get it back to the 5. You almost just have to throw the ball. They sent in a blitz, so we knew we were going to have Markick. But because of where he cut, we didn't have enough time to pick up the 1st down, and they're not blocking that punt. This has actually been such a miserable game for us. And it's 6 players versus 5 until they took the RPO over to that side of the field. If they handed it off, we would have won that battle. We sent in a blitz, but we hit stick them into getting a huge run against our defense. How is your hit stick so weak that they just bounce off of it, and now they're going to the 6? And once again, we're just running Tampa 2, hoping that we can force them to throw an interception or something. We definitely have the coverage. I'm telling you, this cover 2 look is so overpowered. Though I feel like someone might get open, and they could hand this ball off for a touchdown if they wanted, but they decided to throw it instead. That's on my user. Oh no. I didn't think they would test it. I was right there, and I cannot lose another game because it's my fault. Going through this at the moment is not fun. It's okay. We still have 2 minutes left. We can get a field goal, send it to overtime, touchdown wins it. And on the first play, we're just going to see what type of coverage they run. It's man-to-man. We're fumbling the ball, so I'm already shook up. I might be the least clutch player in the entire world. I'm really hoping that they give us a cover 0 look though, because I had Abdul Madden on a streak and it is just off target. That was literally it. It was the perfect play call. Now we're stepping up. They didn't have a quarterback spy out there. I saw the pressure coming, but we should have had them beat deep. And if that's man-to-man, we're going to have that on the sideline. They said we didn't get in though, so I've challenged it. You can see that at least both of those feet were in, and they still didn't overturn the call. How do you miss that on a video game, especially after challenging it? We're beating that smaller corner though, except it wasn't placed perfectly, so Cookie Williams couldn't come down with it, and their linebackers stuck with us. 4th and 7. The failed challenge means we don't have as many timeouts left as I would like, and Abdul Madden dropped the ball. We're actually going to lose to the Panthers. All we can do is just send the house and hope that we stop them. But that's clearly not happening. This game's over. They're just taking a QB kneel. And instead of punting the ball back to us, they're going for it on 4th and 1. I didn't see that coming, but we couldn't get it. We have just lost another game that we were ahead in, and these chokes are starting to get out of hand. This is a painful second season right now. But then we signed the 93 speed wide receiver, so I'm a little bit happier. We also got Demarius Bordeaux, so my name is on this team, and a middle linebacker Jim as well. We picked up a ton of signings. Okay, I guess there's another one too. And just looking at our recruiting board, now we can start to go after some other prospects because this Jim is the last original player I had. We have to keep sending the house because our grades for him aren't the best, and he's on a visit against Western Kentucky. So if we get our first win of the season against the Hilltoppers, our biggest rivals, I think that would cause him to commit. But before we finish the rest of this Southern Kentucky season, a word from Prize Picks, today's video sponsor. I'm so glad that the NFL and college football are both finally back, and because of that, Prize Picks will be offering a free square with Caleb Williams for the entire month of September. On there, you predict higher or lower on 2 to 6 players projections, and I'm personally pairing it with Shedeur Sanders passing for over 250 yards versus Nebraska. You can play in over 30 states, so there's a good chance that yours is eligible. And if you want some free cash to start out with on Prize Picks, Code Board will get you $50 instantly when you play with your first $5 or more lineup. Remember, play responsibly, and now it's time to get back to Southern Kentucky Season 2. Last year, we were on pace to take them down, and then we choked, kind of like we've done in a couple of these games so far. So going into this, I'm I'm feeling confident we can definitely beat them. On 2nd and 4, they're just going with another handoff, but we're there to fill it up. And I have a feeling that they're going to stick with the run for a while, but that's not going to go anywhere. Now it's 2nd and 10. Once again, they're just feeding it. But here we go. 3rd and 2, a chance to get them off of the field, and they're going to complete the pass. I figured a hit stick would probably end up forcing that ball loose, but it's all good. We know that they're going to continue to run the ball, and now they're making it 3rd manageable. No, they're picking up a 1st down. This has been a long drive down the field for them where they tried to hit us with a reverse, and I think I need to start controlling the safety so we can bring more people into the box. It is now 3rd and 7. I'm on Marlon Valentine. They are going to have a bunch of slants out there on the field. We have a zone on that part. What is he doing? They threw the ball in his direction and he just decided to run away from it. Now they have a touchdown. And this is what I'm saying. We just need our players to develop. We need to get some better cornerbacks in on this team because that was absolutely ridiculous. It's going to be a long drive down the field for us. Jay Newman isn't able to get out of this situation well. And I'm going to put our tight end on a streak more often just in case he's able to beat everybody deep. Final play of the 1st quarter. It's just going to be a handoff where we could have had a much bigger gain than this. I hit the hole wrong, but it's all good. We're on 2nd and 9. The halfback screen to Jay Newman should have worked, except nobody blocked, even though there were 3 people there that should have, and we're going to throw it against that zone. This is driving me crazy right now. They hit our punter right there, though. I know that they made contact. That almost hit him too. But there was no penalty flag out there on the field, and that play action has gotten me where both of our players, manned up and a zone, get burnt for a touchdown. Maybe Western Kentucky's better this year, but 14-0 already is crazy. I thought this would be our best performance. And we'll see what type of coverage they're running right here. It's cover 3, which means we're going to have the 1st down. I'm already in hurry up mode, even though the game just started. I don't want to go down by more. And I feel like if they're going to come out pressing us, we have the players that can actually beat them deep this year, but that throws out of bounds. Leave it up to Todd Stark to disappoint. They've gotten in pressure immediately. And we have to punt it to them again. It's 14-0, and it's not looking good right off the rip. Now they're going to hand it off. We're going to miss a tackle. We're about to miss multiple tackles, and we're missing even that last one. So it's 21-0. How do we come back from something like this? I wasn't too worried headed into this game, but now I'm just annoyed with our performance. And even that pass wasn't done correctly, but if it was, it would have gone for a lot. I tried to lob it up. 3rd and 4. I'm just rolling out and taking the crossing route, though we can barely catch it. And this whole game, we're just going to be slinging the rock because of how much we're trailing by already. This is not an open route, but we're throwing it up. For whatever reason, I don't think this one's over. I feel like we can pull off the comeback. We have an open route on this play. It's our backup tight end. No, it's Markic. He's going to make that defender miss, and we just got to keep on going. Now we're going to hand it off. Halfback stretch. Easy touchdown for Jay Newman. But whether or not we can get a stop is crucial. I think the strategy might be to send a blitz on 1st down to stop the run, and then get like 4 or 5 dudes down there to do the same thing on 2nd down, but they almost outran us. Once they get to a 3rd down situation, all we'll do is shade underneath, and we hit them at the legs, but they might actually pick up the 1st down. Okay, we felt them short. I'm going to call a timeout just to stop the clock, and we can't hit their punter. We didn't, thank goodness. We're also going to have a lot of space for Wright to return this kick. I feel like he has the speed to get a lot, but instead they converged on him in a way that I just wasn't expecting, and that blitz is getting in so quick. Abdul Madden, though, can't make this catch. It's already 3rd and 10. I might be aggressive and go for it on 4th down if this is a close call. We're going to have our tight end right here as long as he holds on, but these broken plays can't go on forever. We got to start playing better. That run is going to make this a 2nd and 7 where we just hit Jay Newman, hope that he can spin for a 1st. And I can't remember whether or not we get the ball to start the 2nd half, but if we do, we're in a perfect position. We should be able to tie the game up with 2 scores. I actually really like the speed option in this game, and we have 5 of them in our playbook, which means we should be able to run this a lot. Our freshman running back's going all the way to the crib, and Rylan Pfeiffer might have gotten in too soon, but he looked really fast. I couldn't stop him. He had too much momentum going in his way, and shanking that kick out of bounds means that they're starting this drive in a crazy spot. That's a bad mistake to make. Let's just hope that this blitz gets in or something. We need something to go our way. And I'll literally send in numbers like that again. It seems to be working. We're going to make the tackle, which makes it 3rd and 9. I'm going with my favorite defense, cover 4 quarters, and we're going to swat it down. It would have been better if we caught it, but now they're attempting a long field goal, and I think it's wide right. So here we go. We have a chance to get more points before the end of this 1st half. I have an idea of the type of route that I want to throw right here. It's going to get open open versus the man-to-man coverage. That's what you want to see. And we're going to go for that same look if it's man-to-man again, which it actually was. Unfortunately, we don't have any 4 verticals left to call, but our tight end beat him off the press. And Abdul Madden has tied this game up at 21-all going into the half. That was the best comeback that we've had in this series yet. And we're giving the Hilltoppers a taste of their own medicine for what they did last year. For a split second, they probably thought that they had us beat. But now we're getting the ball to start the second half. Literally all the momentum's in our favor, and I'm ready to score again. If they commit down on this read option, we would have had a huge running lane. But I'm not sure if I made the right read there. We seem to be doing better when we just throw the ball, so that's what we're going to return to. I want to get a bubble screen going on this 3rd and 1, but I'm afraid it might not go well, except it did. The only issue is we can't really run it again, though. We are going to get out in open space here, and we'll see if they play the bubble screen again. They are, so all we can do is hand it off. I was so excited, but now we have to pick up this 3rd and 8. It puts us in a tough position, except that pass is perfect from Todd, and now we're down inside the 23. I should have never doubted this roster. I am so excited with how this game's going, and we're just going to give it to Jay right here, who is going to pick up the 1st down. If they don't play underneath either, we would have had a touchdown right there. We're still about to, and this might be the perfect time to mix in the jet touch pass, where if we pick up our blocks, we should be able to run it in. This is going to get ugly if we have to go for it on 4th and goal after driving all the way down the field, but the drag was boxed, and this could end up being the wrong call in this situation, but we play these things aggressively. What are we doing with that pitch? Oh my gosh. Not only are we not going to pick that up, but they are running all the way for the end zone. Come on, Madden. You're just going to have to track them down. This is our tight end. I should have done the one with a quicker release. We waited too long to get that football out, and that's going to ruin all of our momentum. At this rate, I'm never beating the choking allegations. They're hitting us with the run up the middle. It wasn't even a jet touch pass, and I'm not sure what to think. This is 3rd and 3. They keep it with the option, and they look so slow. Come on, that's got to be short. I thought we had them there. Now they're just going to hand it off again. And on 2nd and 7, it's actually a pass where they've dotted us up. It's back to trailing by 7 points. There's only 4 minutes left in this game, but we were playing at our best whenever all the pressure was on. I'm just not sure about it now. Western Kentucky had their moment where they choked. Now they're starting to play a lot better defensively. I need a block here from Jay, and he gets it for us, but we might fumble. And now I'm pulling out my favorite deep passing play in this playbook, but it didn't get open. I just wasted it right there, but this is definitely cover 0, so we're going to have them beat deep, assuming 27's not fast enough to knock it out, and that's going to make it 3rd and 14 for us. I'm just going to roll out and hope for the best right here. I think we're going to have to scramble. Come on. Pick it all up. This is literally it for us. It's man-to-man coverage. That route is actually amazing from Cookie Williams. But the main issue is we still have to get into the end zone, and I'm afraid that throw might be bad. Cookie Williams on this next play, though, is on a fade route. So if he can outrun this defender, we're going to tie things up. Except it's never that easy. Somehow he has managed to drop this football. I'm starting to think that this game just doesn't want to see us win. I think that Abdul Madden's going to make the catch, though. And I am stressed out of my mind. We're in hurry-up mode right now. They're going to have a chance to get the ball back even if we get in. So our defense is going to have to come up clutch, but that was such a laser. The refs are trying to take it away from us, though. They're challenging this play. We might not have had a foot in. And it was hard to tell, but we're kicking the extra point to make it 28-all. Once again, though, apparently I've shanked the kick. I didn't mean to. And they get to start around midfield. I got to pay more attention on those. We could force an interception, though. There's 2 people back on that ball. Come on! It takes a lot for me to get this emotional about a game, but I'm close to being super frustrated. They're throwing this one on the run. That's got to be us. No way. I can't believe it. They've got it down on the goal line. They're about to punch it in. And I'm run committing. I'm doing absolutely everything that I can, but it won't matter. Last year, we went to overtime against Western Kentucky. It might not be any different this season if we can score again. But what worries me is we still have to drive down the field, and that is not an easy task, especially when I'm throwing it to them. He's literally celebrating, though, and they're going to call a flag on him. So we'll take the bailout. That was not PI, and the halfback draw to Jay is going to get us like 15. I can't use coach suggestions anymore, though. We've pretty much used every single play that we have. Now we're coming back to this football. And there's no reason to be in a huge rush. We still have all 3 of our timeouts left, which is plenty with this much time. I even feel comfortable mixing in a run just to see what we're able to pick up with him. And apparently if you call a play out of hurry-up mode, you can use it again going forward because we just ran this a couple of plays ago. They're letting us do it again as well. That makes me feel pretty good, though that read was bad. And the plan for this one is to roll out and fit it into a tight window, but they got in pressure, so we just had to take that. All right, it is now 3rd and 3. Once again, rolling out. We're just going to throw it and keep on running, Newman. You got to get in. I don't feel great about this play call, but it's an RPO, so we could have taken the slant if it was there. And it actually all comes down to this. Time's winding down on the clock. I'm going to take it in the flat no matter what. and we're short. Words cannot describe the amount of pain that I'm going through right now, because we lost a game on the goal line against Kentucky, now against the Hilltoppers, and as the year goes on, more and more players are going to want to transfer out. If we lose any more games on this schedule, we're not going to be eligible to make a bowl game, and we might lose out on this prospect to the Hilltoppers because of that loss. Knowing that we still need to improve our offensive line and defense, I'm starting to go after players at those positions. And at the moment, we're 0-4 in Sunbelt Conference play, so we're at the bottom of our division. But if we can win on the road at the Teal Field against Coastal Carolina, that might change. I'm sick of getting embarrassed. I'm sick of losing games. I feel like we're capable of winning. So I'm excited to see we're starting on defense. I feel like that gives us a better chance. They do have a good quarterback. That does concern me a bit. But the rain might help us because we like to run the ball so much sometimes, and that's a great start. I've been making so many adjustments pre-play that it might be better if I start to leave things stock. We're getting out there for the jet touch pass. We're going to bring him down. And here we go. It's 3rd and 6. I already know that that motion means they're throwing the ball. They have stuff open underneath, but they don't drop it. Not only should we have stopped them there, which we needed to, but we potentially should have had an interception, and I see what routes are about to get open. I've also left the running back in the flat, so that means they're going to the 35. Please just hand this ball off. I ended up pressing, hoping that we could stop the run, and we'll continue to do so. They're going to fake us out with the read option RPO, though. I didn't even know the quarterback could keep it, and it's taken no time for them to get inside the 10 where they take it in. We have a long first drive ahead of us. Blocking-wise, we didn't pick up much, and we better start to figure things out. I cannot lose. Like, I'm not kidding. This is the most important game of the year to me. Even though I already know that we're not going to finish the rest of this season undefeated and then make a bowl game, I want to feel like we actually could still. And yes, we just went for it on 4th and 3. That's the level of frustration I'm at the moment. I just want to win. And this actually feels worse than last year because I wasn't expecting it this season, though we just had them beat deep on a deep post. You literally just can't miss that throw. I have no words for us at the moment. And I guess we're punting it back to Coastal Carolina because our freshman quarterback has accuracy issues, though this bounce on the punt was pretty solid. All right, let's see what they go with. It's obviously a run. We tried to shoot up that gap. We can't miss this tackle. They're slipping off of it, of course, like I expected them to. And I'm not sure how Coastal Carolina is just 1-3 because this roster feels like one of the better teams we've played against. Now it's 1st and 10. Little bit of a draw play or play action mixed in. I thought it was going to be a draw. Now they're beating us over the middle. And I already know that they're about to take a 2-possession lead, but I don't know how bad it's going to be. We're going to intercept it with Valentine, and maybe I should be using the safety more. After that right there, I might be done with the linebackers. Even though I really enjoy it, we're going to hit them with the RPO. And I'm just going to sling this rock. I am past the point of caring too much. We're going to hit them short. But that ball was dropped, so now we have double slants out there on the field, and that's a sack. Well, my hope in this game is very short-lived all of a sudden. Though we have beaten that player deep, we just need to hold on to the football, and Trey Ramsor gets it done for us. Now we're going to wait for our tight end to get open, let him run with it, but the refs are reviewing it, trying to say it wasn't a catch. If they took that away, I would have been sick, because at the moment we have so much momentum, but I guess our offensive line just completely forgot how to block both of those players. That's going to ruin our entire drive. I'm not sure what they were thinking. We have to get it down now, and I guess we're going to hit him with the jet touch pass, but no, there was a penalty before we could even get the jet touch pass off. This is quite possibly the worst way that this drive could have ended, but we would have had some separation there, and my team just decided no, we'd rather kick a field goal and miss. This is getting close to a Bordeaux crash out. Those rarely happen, but we're going to get the interception. Never mind, I'm happy again. We're back in this game. That was the one thing that could have potentially saved us. I cannot believe they threw it to us, but here we go. We have another chance to score some points, just like we needed, just like I asked for, and that's a red pass. That bad ball was definitely my fault. I'm not sure what I was thinking, but we have the corner out, and if we could just get enough time to take this zig or step up in the pocket and scramble, we might get a tutty. This is where we're always going to struggle. Again, I'm going to try to step up and just run it in, but that's 2 failed attempts in a row. They've gone with zone coverage, and this is going to be short. You know what? We're going to be aggressive. We're going to try the jet touch pass. I feel like it could work for us. We just have to hold our blocks, and somehow we have tied this game up. Because of how poorly we've played in this series as a whole, I am questioning my college football 25 abilities. But I also have to remember the type of team that I'm using. It's worse than what I would normally be going with, and how did they break that? I think I might have turned tackling down a little bit too much when I created the team, but at least we've gotten them to a 3rd and short where they're going to get it out. We had a flat and a man over there, but we still couldn't guard that route. I literally predicted exactly what was happening. Come on, get the sack. Unfortunately, the computer was very smart. They chewed the clock after that play, so we're not going to get the ball back again, but they're also not going to score, and that means we're going into the half all tied up at 7. It's taken 2 interceptions, but we are in this game, and we still still haven't called a lot of the plays that we normally would. So I find that exciting because if they work, we're going to have some pretty huge gains. Now, of course, when things start to look like they're going well for us, the refs are going to hold us back. But by now I should know something like that's coming. They went with cover 0, so Madden should have them beat deep. I went with the play action, and he drops the ball. Some things in this game are never going to change. We're always going to struggle with certain issues. We're not going farther. And on 3rd and 11, I really need enough time in the pocket to hit this crossing route, which we got, and Abdul could have been gone. He stepped out of bounds, but that's one of my favorite plays in this playbook to hit. It's a shame we only can use it once. And there was an injury timeout for Jay Newman, which is very concerning to me because I'm not sure when he's going to be back out there. Well, as you can see, he's not returning for the rest of the game. So when we need our star player the most, he's not going to be out there. We have to rely on a true freshman. And I saw that Abdul Madden was also hurt. I haven't gotten a pop-up for when he'll return yet. There it is, though. It says he'll return soon. And this might be risky, but I think we can trust the speed option to get us 3 yards in this situation, assuming that pitch was a little better. Now we pretty much have no choice but to go for it. Our hitch route is open. Just make the catch. And that's a huge relief because we were not going to hit a field goal from there. That pitch is going to let this guy get in stride a little bit. And Duke Willingham seems a little bit better than Ryland Pfeiffer's been for us. Todd Stark is going to break free, but there's a flag. That's 2 times in the same drive. It was also the backup tight end that's in. So all that could have been avoided if we just had our starter and we ran the same play where we fumbled it. This is actually going so south for us at the moment. I'm going to try to scramble. Maybe we'll just throw this ball and see what we can do with it. But there seems to be almost no reason to try and force it into the end zone as that throws way off. Brian Hoge better drill this kick. He's already missed one. The freshman will hit it. But guess who shanked the kickoff out of bounds? I hit too much power on it, and next thing you know, they're starting this drive at the 40. We've just given up a touchdown on the first play. Great coverage, boys. There is something that is so addicting about this game that makes me just want to keep on playing it, keep on getting wins with this roster. But at the same time, I'm about to lose my mind, and their coverage is just solid, so Cookie Williams getting free is a massive deal. We're clearly dealing with a ton of wear and tear. You can see our quarterback is fully depleted. That is a big issue. And we've been having so many problems trying to get into the end zone throughout this game. On 3rd and 3, I'm just going to wait for that route to get open, but he turned around. And I thought that was a simple hitch route. Now we have to go for it. We barely got that out, but at least it all worked out. It made sense to go for it right there. The halfback screen is going to get free, and we're able to get about a first down. I have one route on this play that I'm going to wait to develop, and then I'm going to throw it underneath just so we can come away with it. But when it comes to getting into the end zone on this drive, I have no idea what we're going to do that's going to get us all the way there. We only have 10 points. I feel like at the moment we can't hand the ball off to our backup running back. We can't scramble for much or throw it because our quarterback's wear and tear is super down, but we're getting a big gain, and we can only run jet touch passes for so long. That zig route will allow us to take it to the 7. But I need a new plan, and I'm not sure if coming out in I form's really going to do it for us. We still don't have our star tight end, so we're just going to have to hope that we don't drop the ball. And just like that, it is 4th and 5. I am going to roll out, and I am scrambling. That is all we're doing. We just have to pick up the block. What a moment for Todd Stark. We needed that so bad. But just knowing that we've left Coastal this much time makes me sick. They could run it versus us. They could throw the ball. They have the option to do either with this much. And it's not like they need anything more than a field goal, which is pretty simple to come by. Now it's 3rd and 1. We have to stick in a cover 2 because we're not able to run anything else. And I think only being able to call the same play once in a game on defense is much harder. It means that I can't really rely on just one formation. I was not expecting them to go with motion like that though, and they're out of bounds. All right, we'll see if this can hold up. I'm stuck on the defensive line though. We had cover 2, so it should have stopped that short theoretically. And I really don't want to have to press them, but this seems like the only thing that might be able to get us a stop. If anything, what would be ideal is if we could just hold them to a field goal. Our zones covered everything besides the running back, and they're spiking the ball now. That felt like a really odd call, but we'll see if we can force in a blitz on 3rd down, and the pass isn't caught. I don't know what went wrong, but they have to hit this field goal, and even if they do, we have 30 seconds. Now the issue is we have almost no good passing plays left because we've used them all throughout this game as they swat that down. But I'm just happy to have a chance at the moment, and our slant is wide open. I just need to escape the pocket, put this on the money, and keep on running with it with the freshman. Come on. That has taken a lot of pressure off of us. I'm gonna have to throw this ball away. But we've already gotten decently down the field, and we're just going to throw this short and fall down immediately. I think we've lined it up the middle. That's about the best thing that we could do. And it is all on true freshman Brian Hodge to drill this. I don't know why I was saying Hodge earlier on. My English pronunciation's terrible. Come on, please give us a win. This feels better than the win last year. I'm not going to lie. Because we've been waiting for this moment. And why is the Clemson Tiger mascot celebrating with us. There's a long season ahead still. There's 5 games left on the schedule. But I have so much joy at the moment. We're going to get this right tackle to commit. And I can't describe how good that felt. Why would these players still want to transfer? Just looking at the rest of our schedule, Appalachian State at 1-4 is winnable. 4-2 Arkansas State's not going to be fun on the road. And we also play at Tennessee still. But if we manage to win all 5 of them, we are bowl eligible. And more importantly, in recruiting, we've taken care of all the players I wanted to sign because as you can see, we have 5 3-star gems on this board. We have a middle linebacker with 86 speed, a wide receiver with 93 speed, a halfback with 92. And now we're slowly just starting to go after other 3-star prospects so we can continue to get more players in. That's going to be a good time. So will the transfer portal at the end of this episode, but for now, we're playing App State. And I'm not sure if we've even ever worn these all green jerseys. As you all can probably tell, I like to mix up the type of jersey we're wearing pretty much in every game. There's so many different color combos I can switch between, but we might need to pair these green ones with other colors. I already can't read a defense, and some of these players look like they are almost invisible on this green field. We're not able to make the tackle. No, we just push them into a bigger run, and this kid is still going. We are not opening up the game, giving up a play like that. You can already see the smile wiped off my face, the frustration starting to sink in again. But it's all good. This is the challenge that I wanted, and we've left the flat wide open for them to take it all the way to the 5. I think we can hold them from here depending on if they run it or throw the ball. They ran it, so they scored a touchdown, but they've also come out pressing our receivers, and we haven't really tried to beat teams deep yet this season, but we have beaten a team deep finally. It was disrespectful to press some of our guys like that. We're taking a touchdown. But I have noticed Jay Newman's out with a foot fracture for the next 2 weeks as well. I thought it was just for the last game. I didn't realize it was for multiple weeks. But that didn't seem to stop us from winning in the last one. Now we're going to try to do the same against App State. On 1st and 10, I'm expecting them to hand it off. I mean, their running back already did amazing. I just got frozen when I tried to make a tackle there. But it's all good. We're sending 7 at him this time, and they hit us with the play action. That is not good. We can't let them outrun us because then it would be 14-7 already. They hit us with a fake jet touch pass. And the fact that the computer can do that with motions makes it so much harder to stop them. I enjoy the difficulty, but it is a different change of pace compared to NCAA 14. And that's why I have no idea how long it's going to take to win a championship. We could be at this for 15 seasons for all I know. We started off the year horribly. And until we can make a bowl game, our roster's never going to be too great, though we should be getting the sack right here. And no way. I clicked on to make the interception. What are we doing? This is actually crazy. We literally just missed it. And I guess we're just going to have to score another touchdown versus them to get it tied back up. They're coming out pressing us again, but they have 2 safeties deep, so we're not going to beat them the same way. And I'll try to throw the ball since our new running back doesn't seem to be the best, but I hit the wrong button. We have fumbled it. And apparently triangle was not a route that was out there on the field, though it is on this play. And once again, we're going to catch it. That press isn't paying off for Appalachian State anymore. That's the type of stuff I want to be seeing. And I'm so used to running it with a tiny running back at 5'5". It's almost weird to be using guys that are normal sized, but we're getting a huge gain right here. Maybe we should be pounding it a little bit more. Our blocks are picking up pretty nicely. And on 2nd and 8, depending on what they do on that right side, I was going to roll out, and I'm just going to throw this over that linebacker into an interception, not over him. I'm not sure why I thought I could fit that there, but it means that that drive is not going to end the way that we wanted it to. Now we're in a spot where I'm not too happy about how we're playing, but if they can't pick up this 3rd and 8, they'll definitely punt it back to us, and I see the drag. That is also open, but it was a bad throw, so they are punting it right now. We could still tie it up at 14 going into the half. That's really the dream. I'm cutting it to the left side as well. We've used this fade route before. I'm not sure if it's going to actually work. They seem to have it locked up, but it was worth the risk, and you have to wonder what type of defense they're running on that side of the field right now. We're going to hit the seam immediately. The Trey Ramsor, who's gone to the crib. The Stallions are playing some good football right now, and this is the best that we have thrown the ball all season. I am thrilled. I know there was that one interception, but that's something that I can look past. We're going to make the tackle. We're pushing them backwards, and it's a shame that that still counted because of forward progress, but we get the sack. I've actually called a timeout because of it too, which might seem odd, but I feel like we can get the football back as long as they don't pick up any huge gains, so we just have to bring them down right here. All we're doing is protecting the sticks with a cover 4. It's gonna be play action. We're prepared for anything, and we have a zone right there. Give us that pick. That worked better for us than cover 2. We've learned that this year. I'm not sure what type of punt that was, though. It was terrible. And now we have an opportunity to score on this drive as well. Just got to hit the halfback screen quick enough, and Rylan Pfeiffer Pfeiffer is going nowhere. All of our big plays have come from straight defensive lapses, and that throw is not going to go the way I wanted it to. So it is already 3rd and 15. I'm not too happy about it, but we have our running back open. Now we have an opportunity to hit this fade route if we have enough time, if that's the type of coverage we need, but that throw is out of bounds. We've used the 2 of those that we have in the playbook, unfortunately, which is a shame, but we're still going to have this over the middle of the field. And I'm not sure if we should even go for the end zone at this point. I don't know why I threw that ball. It could have been picked, but I just want to center up the field goal. We're going to dive. And this is a kick that Hodge can easily hit. We just have to make sure that it goes far enough. That's a great first half for the Stallions. Probably one of the best we've had. And can you imagine if we hadn't thrown that interception? Just getting that 1 win last week has helped us get a lot of our confidence back that we needed. And it is kind of weird that without our best player, Jay Newman, on offense, we're performing even better. Maybe that's because we were leaning on him a bit too much. The jet touch pass to the outside, if the blocks are good, could have been a first. But instead, we have to pick up this 3rd and 6, and we have that open if it's enough. The refs are saying it wasn't a catch. I feel like we got our foot in bounds. I've decided to just challenge it. And as you can see from this angle, in front of the marker, you can't see if his foot's down or not. I also can't pause it, so great angles from EA right there, letting us see whether or not we actually made the catch. They're going to catch the punt return, and we just have to hope that they're actually handing this ball off. I fully committed to it. There was no other way on that play. I see the fade route out there on the field. We're going to get the interception with Scott, and I think he's gone to the crib. What a play right there. We have needed something like that to happen. Sophomore Deion Scott might just be that guy. And it was only a matter of time before we started getting more interceptions. We got so many of them last year. The read option kind of faked us out. They're not quick, though. So now I'm prepared to just run with some man-to-man coverage, and we didn't lock up. I wanted to switch things up, see if it made a difference. I normally just go Tampa 2 on every 3rd down, or maybe a cover 4, but they've picked up so many of them throughout this entire season, and that's a great juke move. We have a lot to figure out about defense, especially more than offense, but we could have gotten a pick, and now they're just going to hand it off, which we're all over. This time it's cover 4 quarters. It's a wide receiver screen. Once again, they tried the same play that they just failed on doing, and instead of going for it on 4th down, they're just kicking their 3. I don't like that. It keeps the computer just one stop away from being able to hold us, and I'm kind of terrified to throw this RPO right here, but we went with it and it paid off. Final play of the 3rd quarter, we're just going to give it to this outer edge and we're going to let Ryland Pfeiffer go to work. 6 minutes left in this game now. The drag's wide open. This is what we need. We just need one solid drive. And if we can get at least a field goal, I'd feel pretty confident about holding on to our lead. The only issue is not everything is going to work for us. I think this hitch route and just running with it might set us up well though. And this feels like 4 down territory, but if it's man-to-man coverage, we're going to have them beat deep again because it was a linebacker on Ramsor. Appalachian State's defensive strategy's been terrible, and I wish more of the schools that we faced came out in that same type of coverage and mentality with a lot of pressing. Ever since I stopped panicking and taking stuff like that, we've been performing a lot better, which is what we needed. So it could have been there in those earlier games, but I was just in a completely different mind state. Why is this quarterback so slow? If he was like a Jalen Milroe, we would have already given up so many different touchdowns to him. We're not getting over to that ball, but they're also letting us hit them late, and we'll see if anyone gets open besides the running back, of course. Since we've used all the defensive plays in this formation, them calling hurry up is actually really hurting us because I literally could not audible to anything, and now they're gonna hit that hitch. We also don't seem to be able to make audibles just in general. I'm not sure why, but I went into instant replay and it seems to be working again. That normally fixes issues. It's just it was too late by the time I figured it out, and we're gonna have to run out the rest of this clock. There's also a 2-minute warning, so we pretty much just need 2 first downs. I'm okay with passing it as long as we complete it, and going down a yard short of the marker could actually be super helpful for us. We just need 1 more first down now. They have pinched their entire defense, so a jet touch pass should work wonders. Cookie Williams isn't going all the way, but we've gotten another big run, and it is so tempting to just audible to a pass and beat them deep, but I know we have to get the win instead. That's gonna do it right there. We have won 2 in a row, and these mean so much for the Southern Kentucky football program. We tried so hard at the beginning of the year, but it's finally working. It helps that the Stallions finally have some good receivers too, and I wish UAB didn't start putting points on this guy because I don't think we're going to get this corner, but we're going to try our best just to convince him to come here. It's a bye week, but he's on a visit at their school, and unfortunately, he did decide on the Blazers. It's okay though, we could still go after Dalton B. 88 speed's not the best, but it's definitely an upgrade from some of our guys, so sometimes you just have to take what you can get, and look at these conference standings. We're not at the bottom of our division. Now we're playing Arkansas State, who could still make the conference championship, but they're on a roll. We could still beat them, and in fact, we're still bowl eligible, which is is even better. I know the odds of us winning out are so slim, but I like to keep that thought in my mind because on top of building our team for season 3, trying to become bowl eligible is something to look forward to, and on the first play, I almost picked that off, but we just weren't there. Rayner's going to be a hard quarterback to stop because he's fast, he's young, and he's good, but he almost made a massive mistake, and is this a jet touch pass already? We know to go to the outside and just hold it, or we're going to miss a bunch of tackles. I might just send in a blitz early on to generate some pressure. We're going to have to hit them hard because it would not have been good if they got free there, and now they're picking up a few more. It's 3rd and 5 though. They're going to have to pass the ball. I thought it might be a bubble screen. We have everything locked up underneath besides that one drag, and that's so unfortunate because I thought we had hard flats out there on the field. Their running back's not getting open anytime soon though, so we were ready to try and get back and pick the ball, and we could have done it here. I ended up having to burn a timeout though because I accidentally selected the wrong defense, and we needed it out there on this 3rd down where it didn't make a difference at all what we called. I thought we were prepared for that play, and out of frustration my water took it out on me. I'll show a full face cam in a second, but hang on, we're about to have a return for a touchdown, and what I was talking about was I just made myself super wet. Pause. I kind of just grabbed it quickly out of frustration and forgot I left the lid off. But I've noticed Jay Newman is back from injury, and I don't know if we should continue to start him. We won 2 games without him out there on the field. I'm not sure if he had anything to do that, but if this is cover 3, I'm hoping that route on the left side can pull that safety. It might be cover 2, and that wasn't a laser. I thought we were about to beat the Arkansas State defense the same way we beat Appalachian State's last week, but we didn't. We've dropped the ball, making it 3rd and 10, and our favorite fade route is out there on the field, but I'm afraid it's underthrown. I accidentally hurried it up too, so we called another timeout, and it's only the 1st quarter, but we've already used 2 of them. Thank goodness this is in the 1st half. It's definitely been an interesting start to this game as well. They're going to just hand this one off up the middle, and I'm hoping that we can get a stop on this drive right here, as it should be 3rd and short. We're going to be super aggressive, which could lead to a touchdown pass, but they just ran it. And that means on the final play of the 1st quarter, they're punting it back to us. Wright has an opportunity to get another good return, but he doesn't. I think it is time to roll out and try to throw a corner route unless we can scramble up the middle. But no, the pressure got in quick and they're sending a blitz. I figured we could beat them deep if they really sent it, and we didn't catch the ball. I went very aggressive on this drive. I wanted to get some big gains. Instead, it's 3rd down. We're going to ball over. And instead of taking it slow, now we're punting it back to Arkansas State just 3 plays later. That did not pan out the way that I was hoping it would for us. Come on. Now we have to get a whole other stop. There's a flag on the play though, and I clicked on it the wrong time. I was confused what it was. I went to click onto that guy, but I accidentally brought him back, and they basically got a free touchdown. That might be the worst 4 plays in Southern Kentucky history. We just ruined this game for ourselves, and it's back to what's worked. It's running the ball with Jay Newman, letting him put in that work against the D, and if he puts it in hard enough, we might be able to come back in this one. On 2nd and 9, they're going to think that we're running the football again, but we are going for the deep shot. It was open, but they hit us when we were throwing. And I swear we had a touchdown right there. If you all didn't see it, go back and watch it. We played so well for 2 weeks, and now everything's starting to crumble apart. But I'm not as locked in as I once was, and we should have had that interception right there. It's a touchdown instead. I knew that beating the Red Wolves would be quite the challenge, but I thought it would be closer than this. And all the things that were working for us previously aren't in this matchup, but they tried to send in a blitz themselves, and we can't break it. The waterfalls in the stadium look great, though, and they run every time the Red Wolves score, so they've been on all game. On 3rd down, I'm literally just stepping up and scrambling for the 1st. I'm even trying to make those defenders miss, because when the game's already over anyway, you might as well take risks, and that's an interception. I knew at the second that it left our hand. There was absolutely no reason to throw it. I was just due for performing bad at some point. We even missed the sack on Rayner, but we came back against Western Kentucky after going down like this before, so I can't entirely give up. Here on 3rd and 2, we sent in a blitz, but we didn't have a hard flat over there to guard their simple flat route, so it was all for nothing, and now they're running the football. We might need to test out this formation more often though. It doesn't seem that bad because it can stop the run, it can stop the pass, and on 3rd and 6 we're going to force them down. That's going to make it stay a 3-possession game. This is winnable, at least if we get the ball to start the 2nd half. Surely we weren't the team that got it first. If we did and we're losing by this much, then it's just been a really bad game. Our corner route was open, and the wheel would have been too eventually. I'm just going to step up and see what we can do on the ground. I think that's the best thing. I'm sick of throwing thrown interceptions. It might be the worst game of Todd Stark's career. He needs to get better stats. And there's plenty of good routes that are still out there on the field, though they had a zone playing that. Match coverage is so difficult to read sometimes. It's a mix of man-to-man and zone, though I think we beat this guy deep. We're possession catching. And I know for a fact we have a touchdown right off the line here, the way that they're pressed up if this ball is placed well. Trey Ramsor holds on to another one. But what we can't do is give up a field goal with this much time left. They should just hand this ball off and take it to the half, but you know that our run D is very suspect. We hit the QB, and somehow he couldn't even get it out before handing it off. Even with the turnovers that we've had, we're not out of this game yet. We're going to take this return, see if there's a lane, and then we're going to hit them with a deep pass on the first play, just in case their defense is still sleeping, but they weren't. I tried to catch them off guard. That would have been a really cool play to have. Instead, I think we're just going to have to do it ourselves, going all the way for the first. And this is a very important 3rd and 1. We're just going to hand it off, and Jay picks it up. I still can't tell if we're better off throwing the ball a lot more or just running it. I feel like we've done a pretty good job of throwing it, but we fumbled. They literally had 2 quarterback spies out there. They knew exactly what they were going for. Now they're running it with their own. And that was actually such a good adjustment from the defense. I'll give credit to them for that. Now this game goes back to feeling almost unwinnable. That play action, though, is going to lead to an interception, and we're back in it. It's a shame that we've had to play so bad in this one. We've actually done pretty well on defense, but we just keep on giving them the ball back, and I was trying to throw the RPO on this play, but we slipped out of there. I'm going to let Juwan Market go to work here too with the end around. It didn't work though, and that's why I stopped calling it in the first place, but for whatever reason, I just had the urge to hit it. Now we have a halfback screen. This spin doesn't get anywhere, which means it's another 3rd and long. They're going to get in pressure almost immediately, and we're throwing this there every time, no matter what. I will take the interception. We had to at least try to pick up the first. There was only one route that could do it. The computer's not going to make a bad read here, unfortunately, and we need another turnover in this one to still have hope, which is kind of crazy because those do not come that often. It's definitely been the worst game of Todd Stark's career yet. All of that motioning caused their running back to get a decent lane, and we'll see how they open up the 4th. It's 3rd and 7, and the man-to-man is not going to stick on everyone. So that's pretty much it for us, even if they do come out pressing our best receivers, and I don't even think we're about to beat them deep. It really stinks that this one had to go this way, though. We do have the outside leverage right there, and we still couldn't even get a catch. That's just our luck, but once again, we have that leverage and we drop it. It's the 4th quarter, so we can definitely go for this here. That's cover 2, but they're still going to stick with it in the end, and I think that's enough of this game. I have seen enough. They're just going to continue to destroy us. Oh my gosh. We were due for something like this to happen, and I knew when we were facing Jalen Rayner, we were going to struggle. I haven't shown any of Todd Stark's stat lines really, but this is the one you all get to see. And that's going to ruin his season stats for the year because he threw half of his interceptions in one game. By week 12, we finally started to get some commits again, and we're super close on a lot of other players. We just need them to eventually decide on coming to our school, but this corner we might have to beat out Marshall for. There's still a lot of good roster building things we have left to do in this episode. We're going to finish the year with James Madison at Tennessee and then against Old Dominion. So if anything, my main goal is to not finish at the bottom of our division, and we have to beat the Dukes in order to do that, who's a 74 overall just like us. Now whether or not that's true, I'm not sure I believe it. This is what our best players look like, and then this is theirs, so there's clearly a better roster over there at James Madison, but it isn't too large of a difference. I'd assume Todd Stark improved on his IQ since he did go up in overall. That's what went up, and that doesn't really help us. We need a quarterback without any skill caps. There's a chance we'll find one in the transfer portal. Devontae could also be that answer. We just don't know what his development's going to be yet, and let me know down in the comments what your all's favorite jersey combo we wear is. If there's a favorite, maybe we'll wear them more often, and I feel like I did well with the school colors I picked for Southern Kentucky. I wanted something different. My elementary school was gold and green, so I just thought it's always looked cool throughout my life. They're about to break free, but thankfully, for the one time that it matters, we make the tackle, and I just took a terrible angle bringing down their running back. He's going to score in the next play. I guess it didn't matter. His type should not be outrunning our defense like that, but it is what it is. And I'm going to try to throw a corner route here. If it's not open, we're stepping up with Todd Stark, who's going to take it to midfield. Newman's still out there, so we're just going to let him take this handoff, see what he can do. But I also like when Damian Dennis Jr. is out there. He's had some good runs. Clearly not right there, though. It is now 3rd and 12. They're getting in pressure kind of quick. This throw was a red bar, and I must have held it down too long trying to make it a bullet pass. That would have gone so much better if I just let go a little bit sooner, though the bounce was nice, and we just have to hit them inside the 25. My goal in this game is to not get beat as bad as we did last week against Arkansas State. That was embarrassing, and I've felt a lot more relaxed ever since those couple of wins. We can't be that way, though. We need to get some 3rd down stops, which which we almost did right there. They broke the tackle, and they've stayed in hurry up mode this entire time, which almost led to us giving up a touchdown. We still might. Whenever they end up flipping their play or selecting a new one, it makes our defense flip as well, and their zones get all messed up. So be very careful of that if you're ever playing the team that likes to stay in hurry up mode. How is he getting the first? He literally had enough time to run to one side of the field, realize the hole wasn't good there, and then run to the other. I have no words for what's going on at the moment, though they're going to try to throw it short. I could have picked that if I was a bit quicker. And that gets them a whole new fresh set of downs. I've overcommitted to stopping them right here, though. They ran straight by our defensive end, and they won't fumble. This is brutal. It's about to be 14-0. No matter how much we run commit, they're just going to bounce off of everything. The rain could benefit us as well, though, so I'm going to try to use it to our advantage. We had a wide open Jay Newman, and that was an unexcusable miss from Todd Stark. We're going to use the play action to try to beat them deep again. See, I'm taking advantage of the D. But no, it doesn't work. We just dropped the ball. The rain has caused us to drop it. 3rd and 10 now. We have to make sure we pick this up. We can't go 3 and out. We were able to just get enough. I should probably go away from passing it this much, but it just feels like the most fun thing to do by now. And the runs just don't work the same way that they used to, though. We're out here getting into space, so we'll see if Jay can get loose. We somehow have to find more speed at that running back position. I think we might have gotten it with one of our new freshman recruits. We're breaking that, and that was a pretty cool animation. I've never seen that one before. I didn't even hit the spin move myself, but we get nothing. I've hurried it up. We're running that play back on 3rd down, and this time the flat is open. We should have taken it. I don't know what took me so long, but on this side of midfield, we are going for it, of course, and I think this is a situation where Todd Stark just had to make the play himself. This is a good drive as a response after we didn't do too well on our first one. We had an open Jake Newman, and I guess we can just expect to miss a bunch of throws. We're about to take a sack as well. I already knew what was coming. There was no reason to get upset. I'm going to try to run to get us into field goal range at least, but now I'm kind of wondering if we should just go for it here. I feel like that might be more effective. I'm going to hot route that route down, and we should have it, but they played the ball. We simply just got greedy. I couldn't have told you where that guy came from. I didn't see him. So that was a pretty solid zone rotation, and we just got destroyed. The fact that they didn't pick that up is actually really impressive. We have sent in a blitz, but they hit their target, and I just have to hope that this look intimidates them, which it might have. We are going to let them get another 5. I might just send it. We don't really have anything else to lose at this point, but we need to back everybody up. It is 3rd down, and they're just going to take the drag, so we got to hit them, but we missed. Every time that happens, there is so much pain. And here we go. It's 2nd and 5. I might have gotten caught lacking. They're going to hit the halfback screen. So I don't want to say this game's completely over yet, because we're going to get the interception with Bryant. Bryant is going back to the house. We needed something like this so bad. Thank goodness we are right back in this game. Kareem Bryant with the house call right there. He's hitting the gritty. And apparently he's only a freshman, so he must have been redshirted last year. I think we might just have to use every single play out of this formation until we just run out of them, because it helped us get a defensive stop, but this time around we didn't pick it. There's all sort of looks out of this playbook. Again, the flat's not playing that, but they're going to have to start calling timeouts. And on 2nd and 3, I'm just hoping that we don't give up anything deep. I'm all over that right there. We have lurked the computer. We have a chance to tie this one up before the half. We might have found exactly what we need on the defensive side of the ball, and we probably should have burned one of our timeouts there. We just have a couple routes out there going deep, but that didn't go well. We have a fade route on this play. I'm just going to throw it before they get the sack, and we have to make the catch on the sideline. Of course, though, instead of doing that, Cookie Williams somehow just drops the ball. So now we're not in field goal range or anything, but our corner route is, and we'll take that. We do need to set it up down the middle real quick just to make it a lot easier. I need to go down quickly, though, and that was almost a huge mistake. I was spamming the timeout button, but it all worked out. For how bad that half started, I'm happy with how it finished. And we're going to use that defensive formation more often in the future. We've also done a spin move out of the kick return, and I'm going to run straight through this ref. He almost got in the way, but I think we're getting our first kick return for a touchdown. The fact that they've given us 17 straight points is amazing. And senior Tanner Wright finally did something good for us. We're running low on plays that we can use in this formation, though, which isn't a great thing. Our safety isn't playing the tight end or wide receiver. I can't really tell what he is. I'm assuming it's a tight end, and I think that's why that one has to be my user right there. This time around, I'm taking responsibility over the middle of the field, and we didn't get to that, making it a 3rd and 3 where they are due for a mistake, and we get the sack. This is literally the best thing that we could have discovered, but I don't think we have any more play calls out of it, which is a big issue. Maybe another kick return for a touchdown, though. I'm not sure what's up with their kick return defense, but Tanner Wright is going to juke that player out, and we've just gotten 2 in one game after getting none all year. This is a career day for the senior. I am so happy with how everything's panning out, and look at that. We can call one more play. If they just stay in hurry up mode, we'll get to run this for the entire entire drive, though it might not be the best one. They're breaking that tackle too. The rain is causing a lot of broken plays, and we're not going to catch 19. Can somebody please knock him down? At least we get to stay out there in this, but that was brutal to watch, and they're going to the 2. Well, now we have to have a new defensive formation out there. That's not as fun. And I have to go for the 3-peat. We'll see if they kick it to Tanner Wright again. They're going to. We know what side we're going to attack. You just cut it up the middle, spin to the outside. But maybe it was just a super lucky fluking coincidence. Now we have an RPO to get us a couple. But the Dukes are hitting hard. You can tell that they're frustrated that we are still in this. I feel like I've used up almost every play, though, that I would normally run, which is going to make it hard to have a good finish. But look at this. Dennis Jr. is getting 20. There's just certain times where he feels better than Jay Newman, a lot quicker, even though his spin move's not as good. And we'll see if he can go to work again on this play. We just need our linemen to pick up those blocks. But it didn't pan out. It is now 3rd and 2. We're going with the jet touch pass over to this left side. Come on, pick up the block, Jay Newman. Cookie Williams with one guy to beat, and we couldn't cut in time. This has been such a good game for us, though. I mean, we have competed our best. And how is Kentucky sitting at number 6 at the moment? Our game against them literally came down to the wire. I think we had the corner route on this play. I'm going to throw it late. I hope they don't get over to that ball, which they didn't. Our backup tight end's able to catch it. This is turning into the Todd Stark redemption game. I'm really liking what I'm seeing. With man-to-man coverage, everything's stuck for long enough, but now their quarterback's taking off down the field, and we had a terrible angle right there. Can we please just catch him? You all know exactly what type of defense I wish we could be in at the moment. It's not looking great for us. And all of this hurry-up stuff is really starting to throw us off. We're also in dime, so it's really hard to stop the run out of it. And they're restricting us to cover 3 because of things we've used in the past, but their QB didn't cut back. I just realized I've been trying to stop open field runs like I'm playing an online player that's going to hit a spin move or do a stop and go real quick. We're going to see if we can get another kick return. But even though we can't, I'm not sure if it's the end of the world because we might have a touchdown here if we have enough time to get off this throw. We went by that corner, but it wasn't good enough. They baited me into trying to make that play, and it worked to perfection, but we're still going to hit the sideline. And I didn't realize this was a 3rd and 2. Fullback dive might not be the best move. I thought we were a little bit closer than that. I should have probably burned a timeout just to change up the play, but I'm sure this punt's going to take a pretty good bounce, just not as far as I would have liked. We've certainly had a lot of trouble when it comes to closing out games. This one's probably about to be no different. They have a touchdown right there unless we're able to make a play, click onto it. And no, they're just breaking tackles. They're about to be gone to their crib. We needed a deep safety over the middle, and I'm kind of forgetting that half of our points in this matchup have come off of kick returns. It's not like we've had a flawless offensive game. In fact, it really hasn't been that solid, though Todd Stark's going to get us 15. Go down. I'm trying my best to hit that slide button, and I think we have them beat deep right here, but everybody just ran into each other. That's going to miss. It was a good read if there wasn't a bunch of collusion. I'm terrified of making one, though. I'm stepping up, scrambling for as much as I can. And we might be at the point in the season where we just go for the 2-point conversion if we're able to get to that point. I think we had a touchdown right there, but we needed just a little bit more time, and we'll see what's open here. It's the crosser. It could be off target. Those yellow arrows always really worry me. You never know what you're going to get out of it, though we have our post, and we just got to come back to the football. That's perfect. Now, I have turned on chew clock, but I'm not sure if James Madison's going to let us run away with as much as I'd like, but we'll see. We have 4 plays to get into the end zone. On this one, we're just going to take it to the outside, and I don't think we can outrun them. To make matters worse, I accidentally went out of bounds. I wasn't thinking. Now we're running the speed option, and they bit on our running back. That means we have no choice but to go for it. I think rolling out and scrambling's our best move. We just got to get in. No! They're saying they stopped us a yard short. We're literally sending everybody trying to get a safety. And we didn't get in time. They've also faked us out with the read option, so unless we knock them out of bounds right here, it's all over. And if their quarterback just goes out, that would be perfect. But no, he's breaking the tackle, and he is gone for a touchdown. I was trying to play that strategically, waiting until he got to the sideline. I thought we could actually pull that out. But now we're just stuck losing another game because of like an inch down on the goal line. We can't come up clutch at the end. And was it this easy? I don't even think what I just said was English. I'm literally losing my mind at the moment. We don't take the sack, though. Hang on. We have plenty of time to deliver a dot right here. Let's go a little aggressive catch. And apparently that was the final play of the game. I must have left on chew clock. Joshua Douglas is only a freshman too. We have to play this kid for 3 more years. But at least we have a quarterback of our own. I just don't know how good he'll be. We also have another lineman we can move around. And on top of that, another one. Even a strong safety. So many commits in just 1 week. And our freshman corner won Sunbelt Defensive Player of the Week. That touchdown could have changed everything. Now we have to go on the road to Tennessee. And looking at these conference standings, we're going to have to beat Old Dominion in our final game of the season. I am happy happy to say at least that we have signed, I think, 10 3-star commits. No, 11, even better. And I'm going to keep looking for players that are available to us, but right now we have the 31st best class. If anything, we still need some linebackers, so I might have to search for some and get some 2-stars on our board. But I don't love the idea of that. We have no idea how good George Beck really is. Now Tennessee gets to try and have their way versus us. I'm not excited for this, but I think there's enough exciting things coming up at the end of this episode that we can finish out the year happily. We've been hit with a flag though. There's no way that they just did that. Are you kidding me? The Volunteers shouldn't need any help, but they already have some of the softest calls going their way, so that's fired us up. I want to be the top 10 team super bad. We just got to lock in for this. We've taken everything that we've learned throughout the year and put it out there on the field for a 3rd and 4 that they're going to pick up. I'm not sure if this formation is as intimidating when you're playing a team as good as the Volunteers, but we almost had the user interception and I can't believe they just threw us off of them like that. That's ridiculous. We almost forced them into making a huge mistake. Instead, they're scoring. Unless one of these blitzes get in, and believe me, I'm literally just sending it at them. I really don't care. It should always be scary facing a team that has absolutely nothing to lose. What are we doing though? There was one player to guard in that kid's zone and he just decided not to do it. He took the play off. It is what it is. We'll just work it down the field ourselves. We don't even know what button is what, and that might be the worst way to open up a game. Never in my life has anybody played that underneath zig route. So it's almost like a safety blanket that I just hit without even looking sometimes. But no, Tennessee had 2 players on it. We've gone down 14-0 so quickly in this one, and it's not going to get any easier. The best thing we can do is keep trying to sling the rock. But I'm not sure if that's going to work against this defense. We might not even have enough time to get these throws off. We're just throwing up a prayer. We completed the pass. There is zero reason we should have caught that ball, and we should be getting another set of downs, but it happened. And they've got to be so annoyed right now. I would pay to see the reaction on their coach's face. We're going for it on 4th down too, just to have a chance at staying in this game in case we can't pick it up. But we did with that great throw, and now we have them beat deep over on that right side of the field. That's right, I saw it, and we're going to run with it for a touchdown. Cookie Williams has silenced this Tennessee crowd, and that's what they get for running press man-to-man. In fact, we have better offensive stats than they do. But that pick 6 was one of the worst reads of all time. I'm not sure what I was thinking. There are a lot of obstacles that Southern Kentucky's going to have to overcome in order to ever be good on this file. We're about to give up a huge run as well. Oh my gosh, that's literally been one play. Can we please just hold them for a second? How Tennessee is playing is how I thought teams like Kentucky and Louisville would have played against us, but they clearly weren't as good. And now we just need to have another big play ourselves. This game could be a big learning moment for us. We created a little bit of separation at first, but we still dropped it. And it's back to just running around and throwing up one of our 4 verticals to see what gets open, though we're going to have to step up, and Todd Stark is not going down. Even if the freshman's pretty much already at his ceiling, I like the fight that I'm seeing out of him. We couldn't get the spin off, and I probably just abandoned the run throughout the season, but I feel like we haven't gotten Jay Newman as involved as he was last year, that's for sure. That might just be because I've enjoyed throwing it a lot more in this episode, though we could have a big run with Dennis Jr. right here. That's what I like to see. And he's our best power back on the roster, but outside of that, he is the worst one. Everything scrambled when we're trying to throw this ball on 2nd and 11. I didn't stand a chance. And we might as well consider this 4 down territory. We're going for it on 4th and 19 no matter what, but it would be nice if we could make it a little bit manageable, and we did. They're saying it's too far to even attempt a field goal, though I feel like we could make it from here. That pass was off target, and we need a miracle. We need Nico to somehow turn this ball over. He's throwing it, and they do turn it over. We got an interception. That looked weird. I couldn't really tell what exactly was going on, but we are going to fumble it immediately. Can we pick it up at least? It took us almost no time to crumble. I'm blaming our offensive line, though. They're just not holding up, so I'm sending up the 50-50 ball with the aggressive catch. That didn't work, but we just have to keep on sending up our shots. Why not? If they do end up paying off, we're going to pick up the first. If not, we're punting. The fumble made absolutely no sense to me, but there's nothing I can do about it. Now we just have to hope that this takes a good bounce. The returner misses it, and there's like 4 dudes chasing him down. There's very few people that want that to happen to them. Now we just have to hope they don't score again before the end of the half, because if they do, that's going to seal the inevitable fact that this game is over, which it is no matter what. I can try to have a little bit of hope, but it's hard to when you know how good the roster is, and the seats that they showed on that last thing would be miserable to have. Nice little sack, though, is going to make it 2nd and 16, and they ran down the clock. I didn't expect them to do that. We could have gotten the ball back. Never mind, we're giving up a slant. For a touchdown? Okay, this is just ridiculous now. Our defense isn't that bad. We literally had a zone in the area of where that slant was supposed to be. I'm literally just sending up prayer after prayer. And we got one more in us. We'll see if we're able to get it off before the end of the half. Instead, they have us in the backfield. So what a beautiful game we're playing against Tennessee. We've both thrown one interception, but they have 4 sacks. And I'm not sure what to even try on this drive. I know we can't drop back and throw the ball versus them. The problem with that is we can't really run the football either, so maybe we'll just do a million RPOs. And I don't quite understand all the motions on this screen. I think it's supposed to be like a fake bubble or something, but Todd Stark is going to get a big game. If we want to make sure that we don't finish at the bottom of our division in the Sun Belt, we're going to have some stuff in store for Old Dominion, and we didn't have time. I have ideas of some stuff that can work. You all know I love my fade routes. Our tight end is also quicker than that linebacker, but the safety still caught up to it. It would only get worse from there, and at the end I am going for some sympathy touchdowns, but we can't really beat their coverage, so we need an aggressive catch. That worked. At least we put up 14 points. And I'm so ready to see how players develop, but we also might be finding out a lot of our players are transferring. It's been a rough season. I'm not going to act like it hasn't been. It's still been better than year number 1, but I want to finish the year with 3 wins. And after this game, there's a bunch of off-season stuff to look forward to, like the transfer portal, but we have to come out on top. It's been an interesting year to say the least. This is it right here. Kickoff return to start the game. Or not. That could have been a cool moment. I'm literally going to throw this zig route that Tennessee did a pick 6 on. That's what normally happens. And I'm ready for a new team next season. As much as I've enjoyed some of the players on this roster like Jay Newman, it's about time we get a couple fresh faces out there. Some new offensive linemen would also be nice. And also just seeing the development of our freshman receivers over the year is going to be even better. We have Abdul Madden as well at tight end that's just had an incredible season. And I'm starting to think that he might be our number 1 wide receiver on this team at the moment. I feel like we've given him the most targets. We'll check the season stats after this game. And that's just a frustrating sack to take. I don't think we're picking up this 3rd and 18. We should have tried to get in field goal range at the least. This punt is just going to put them at the 15. And I've played through this entire season today. Normally each video takes a couple of days to record, but this one I've been grinding. And that's probably caused some errors on my part that I normally wouldn't make. I'm so invested in this team though. I feel like I need to play through the entire season in just one day. I don't want to take my hands off the controller. Except when I start throwing interception after interception and we give up big touchdowns. That's when I start to lose my mind a little bit. I've spent the whole day working on this though, just so we can go to the transfer portal period, because I'm super curious what other players we can get in here, and we just got to bring them down. This entire drive's been out of hurry up mode. It's been a bit ridiculous, and I was hoping we could get them off the field on 3rd and 5, but we didn't. I've just been yapping away as they refuse to do anything else. And finally, after losing yards, we see this play call screen, so you know that we're going over to double mug. It is time to apply some pressure to Old Dominion. They're throwing it, and we're going to get the interception, or we're going to miss the ball. I thought we had that lurked. I think I need to get a little bit taller of a user there. So we'll see who we can move to safety this offseason. They're bouncing off of that. And we know that they're probably just going to hand this football off, which means we were prepared. On 3rd and goal, there's simply no way that they run this ball. I'm dropping back. We're ready for it. But what are we doing? We have a zone that's supposed to be playing right there. And he just doesn't do his job sometimes, but that's the man-to-man coverage we're looking for, or the cover 3 look. One of their deep zones was pressed too far up. We're going to see that pre-play. Now we're going to take the drag, see if we can pick up at least 1 block, make that defender miss as well. And I'm ready to respond back. I can't believe that we gave up a touchdown to them there. I thought we had them stopped. Ending this season 3-9 is so much better than 2-10. It looks a lot different because nobody wants to play for a school that just had double-digit losses, and I'm afraid that's not going well. I think we can take our 3 though. I'm confident that our defense is going to get a stop eventually. And for a split second, it looked like we missed that kick, but it turns out we didn't. Their quarterback's just kind of quick. I've adjusted our settings to stop the run like that. It shouldn't happen again, but we have been burnt deep. Thorne is not quick enough, and I pulled him down way too low. I'd actually prefer if the JUCO does not start for us next season. He's had a pretty rough year, but we're going to get by number 9 and we're going to make the catch. Cookie Williams simply couldn't do that last season, so he has improved a lot from what he was. Now we're hitting him with that nice little zig. And I've started to chew the clock just to make sure this is the final drive of the first half. In case we have to settle for a field goal, we've moved it to the middle of the field. I'm still hoping that we pick this up. But I'm also pretty confident that we'll probably make a mistake of some sort and we're just scrambling for it. We're going to have to truck these defenders. I thought we got the first down. It's marked as a 4th and inches, but that's not going to change our play call. And that could be the final touchdown of Jay Newman's career. I just realized that this is his last game for us, and the same goes for other seniors like Cookie Williams. They're throwing an interception, though, with no time left in the half. And if we return this for a touchdown, we're going up 17-14. I don't know what they were thinking. Alani Diggs has put us up. And that's the true freshman I remember recruiting last season. That was a wild first half. But this game's far from over. They get the ball to start the second half, and we're all over the run. A lot of their formations have been super wide like this, though, which has made it tricky to stop, especially when they just decide to hand it off. And guess who's still in hurry-up mode? It's 3rd and 3, but we got our defense out there, and we just missed like 4 tackles. Number 3 is fast enough to be gone or not. It's actually driving me nuts at this point. We can't change a thing. But if it's this annoying, maybe this is how I'm supposed to be playing against other teams. I just feel like our players would get too tired too fast. They're about to punch it in. And we'll see if Wright can get one final kick return as a senior. Between him, Cookie Williams, and then Jay Newman as well, we have quite a few of them. At least more than I was thinking. I'm sure there's a few that start for us on defense, especially on our defensive line. And the same probably goes for our offensive line. It's just those players don't matter that much. I'm not going to take the time to do a deep dive into most of them on this team because most of their names we're not going to remember. We had them beat deep though. And because it wasn't an accurate pass, it is now 3rd and 11 where I just made a blind read. I'm almost positive that we had circle wide open there. I'm really just hoping that we get a really good bounce with this punt. And that stopped. If they're going to stay in hurry-up mode, we're just going to run double mug. If we can stop the run out of it, we'll be fine. But they've spaced us out so much, sometimes it's hard to do it. All it would take would be a slant, and we'd be in a ton of trouble. So I'm hoping they don't realize that, and we just have to fill up this hole. Here we go. It is 3rd and 7, and I'm trying to get in pressure. I'm stuck on the defensive line. They throw it away. So we're getting it back. We're starting the first play with play action, literally just trying to beat them deep, and that didn't work. They have a zone on that. Oh my gosh, I really just threw it. I feel so bad for our freshman. He's acting like his hand was hurt. He's like shaking it off. And I need him to take some accountability for that terrible read. What was he thinking? It's so hard to coach this team whenever my quarterback's blind half the time. Can we just bring them down? All right, it's 3rd and 5. I know they're not running it here. We just have to cover everything. And we are about to get the sack. That should be a fumble. It's actually incredible we're still in this game at this point. But I'm like half awake right now. It's almost 4 a.m. This normally happens. Whenever I try to finish a video, it just goes so much longer. So there you go. You have my excuse for when I throw another 2 interceptions before the end of this game. Come on, hit that outside edge, Trey Ramsor with the play. All right, the fade route cannot fail us. This is our final play before the end of this quarter. And it isn't going to fail us. We've run straight by number 5, Cookie Williams, the senior, with the touchdown. That literally might be how we've passed for half of our touchdowns. And we've still only been able to go 2 and 9. We might just need to find a playbook that has that same play in there like 20 times. And 2nd and 5, they're going back to the run again. That's all they like to do. But it's all good. I think we're prepared to stop them on 3rd and long, and we're covering that route. We might even try to make this the final drive of the game. 5 minutes on the clock. All we have to do is get into field goal range. We'll see what Tanner Wright can do with this. But there's still probably too much time left for us to drain absolutely everything. We'll see how it plays out on 2nd and 8. Once again, we've beat them deep, but that safety's getting back to the ball. So we're pulling out this route. It's the only other time we have it in our book, and we didn't create the separation I was hoping for, but we'll go for the aggressive catch. Well, we might be ending senior night in a very disappointing way. This is probably the worst punt ever. It actually turned out to be pretty good still, even though I messed up that kick. And I really don't want to lose this game, but I feel like we're not playing well enough. They've also got us in hurry-up mode with a defense I really don't want out there. We're not prepared to stop the run at all. And we can barely audible to a better play call because we've used almost everything out of this formation. Calling a timeout would have been better, but I just ran into their linemen. And now we can go out there ready to stop the run again. They're the ones probably trying to settle for the field goal now. And they must have really seen something that they've liked because they're staying in hurry-up mode. It's 3rd and 7 and we get the sack. Neither team seems to be able to score at the end. That could be a good punt too. And we really need to have Jay Newman out there on the field if he is going to take control of this senior night, not Damian Dennis Jr. It is Jay Newman's time to shine. 2 years at the program have been pretty solid. I mean, he's given us hope. He's getting a huge play right here. That spin was almost crazy. I'm trying to find some plays that'll let him go to work. We've rarely used this formation, but it's a bad throw. We cannot mess this up now. All we have to do is get into field goal range. Come on, there's a flag here as well. That means this is coming back no matter what. Wait, it's against the defense. Did they hit our quarterback late? Oh, that is beautiful. It was roughing the passer. We are now on the 34-yard line. We don't deserve to win this game, but we're in a pretty good spot. I'm not sure if this is field goal range yet, but what I've started to do is just run out the rest of the clock, and I didn't realize Jay Newman wasn't in for that play. 3rd and 8. This is probably the biggest one of the game. We have our drag over the middle, And look at that, Juwan Markic is gone to the crib. He was such a nice addition to have to this team, especially because we had players like Chris King that just decided they wanted to transfer out. It would have been nice to have the sophomore for 2 more years. But no, he left us at the end of last season when we've only gotten better since then. Even in just this video, I feel like there's been a ton of improvement. I was protecting the sticks though. We should have played that. After spiking the ball at 2nd and 10, but they're completing it over the middle again. And they might actually score a touchdown sending it to OT. These wide formations have just been a little bit difficult to stop. I feel like we could pick that ball off though. We're going to get it with the true freshman, and that is going to do it. What a moment for this team. We've taken down Old Dominion. And while trying to get Jay Newman a couple more runs, we committed a false start, but I don't care. We're not going away from it. We might be trying to pull a Miami, but I'm seriously going to miss him, and he has nowhere to go here. What are we doing? It is time for the final play of his career, the final play of SKU season number 2, and he has a chance to go all the way. Never mind, I'm kidding. That was a great way to end the year though, going 3-9. And Todd Stark played pretty well for being just a freshman. We're going to keep running him at quarterback, but I just don't like that he has almost no room to improve. And looking at these conference standings, we didn't finish at the bottom of our division. Now we end the year recruiting, and as you can see, there's certain battles like this one against Marshall that are neck and neck. But because our school grades are so low, I think he'd choose their school over ours. We have a C- championship contender. We're top 100. I couldn't tell you how after going 3-9, but it's helping us pick up commits. And Dalton B did choose us over the Thundering Herd. Looking at our season stats, Todd Stark almost threw for 3,000 yards. He was 11 yards short. Those turnovers are a little inflated. But 9 interceptions for me through an entire season really isn't that bad. I know Jay Newman didn't rush for that much. He had a couple games that he missed. And we more focused on passing the ball, where our top 4 receivers are all very similar. It's hard to say who was actually wide receiver 1. Defensively, what you'll notice as I scroll through this is most of these players are either juniors, freshmen, sophomores, so they'll be back next year. Our sack leader, Julian Jones, was a senior, unfortunately, though. And our interception leader was Kareem Bryant. He had 2 pick sixes for touchdowns, while these guys were all tied for 2nd place. Not a bad year all around. I'm tempted to fire some of these coordinators just because they have terrible coach prestige, but I really need them to stick around and continue to grow with me. I've only gained 10 coach points throughout the entire year. I can use that to finally max out the blocking in tier 3 though, and the same will go for our defensive line. We can put 65 points on all those players. It seems like Texas State won our conference championship over Arkansas State, and that got them a playoff bid, so it's possible to make the playoffs from the Sun Belt. It's also early National Signing Day. We have 13 3-stars to look at their dev traits, and Nick Smith, the 93 wide receiver, has star dev. I then found my first 3-star ever with elite development with my last name, and I didn't even know it was possible to get elite dev on a 3-star recruit before. Another star with Durant, and then another star with Joshua Lawrence. Our offensive line is going to be amazing. We actually really lucked out with this class. This strong safety has it, and I didn't even scout him, but the rest are normal. And I know we've only signed these 13 players so far, but I feel like we've covered everything I would have wanted. Anything in the transfer portal is just going to be extra stuff, but there are 10 players that could leave us. And the thought of Abdul Madden playing for another team makes me kind of sick. I think I accidentally skipped the season recap though. I closed the app as fast as I could. But we are in the players leaving tab, so I have no idea who won the championship. I think it was Georgia though from the pop-up I saw, but all of these guys have no chance at coming back. The persuasion's at none. This is actually a joke. We're literally losing so many freshmen we recruited last season, like Lester Sheets, Abdul Madden, of course, Alfonso Stokes. And then the graduation, of course, Jay Newman's departing from the program, Cookie Williams is departing, and then our sack leader, Julian Jones. And I'm going to try to put together a class of 35 players because of it. Remember, in the transfer portal, we can go after players from the state of Kentucky or Tennessee, whether they're transferring from their home state or they played for a school in that state. For example, this cornerback from Louisville is from Kentucky, so we can add him, but we can also add all these players from Memphis because they played for a school that's in Tennessee. And unfortunately, because of academics, none of Vanderbilt's players are ever interested. Western Kentucky, our rivals, did have a 3-star that is though, so we might just try to snag him for the meme. And players from the home states of Kentucky and Tennessee didn't give us many more options, so we're probably gonna have to look at the prospect list. Never mind, I forgot we only have 525 hours to spend as a smaller school. This guy's on a visit, hoping we can beat out Memphis for him. I want to get this 2-star linebacker as well. And then I put points on all these transfers that aren't juniors because we could have them for a few seasons. Looking at week 2 though, just off putting 50 points on Ricky Lee III, we might be able to get him. And we ended up stealing this corner from Memphis. I accidentally skipped week 3 though, so I'm just thankful we didn't seem to lose any battle, but it might affect how many players we sign in total. I've seen people say there needs to be a confirm button on the advanced week. I don't think it'd be the worst thing in the world, but it's also my fault in the first place. Those transfers were not that hard for us to acquire. And remember, all you have to do is be in first place on a prospect expect when this week ends for them to come to your school, so we might be able to jump into elite on this 1-star. I'm just trying to make sure that this team has depth at every position, so we'll see how all of this works out. And at the end of the day, I'm expecting to see a ton of these screens. We pretty much won every battle that we were in, but more importantly, we picked up extra pieces, and that is a lot of green. I'm a little confused if this player flipped to Tennessee though. I didn't realize we lost him, and then also this running back went to Ohio. We put no points on it. All in all, it's a class of 31 players. I'm going to start looking through the dev traits just to see if we can find anything good. Our fullback with a star dev is kind of crazy. And I just realized that Devontae Newcomb, the quarterback, has impact. Our class is down here at number 66, but I would rate it high above what we had last year. And I could make Devontae a receiving back, but I feel like he has every ability you would want out of a quarterback. We also have Prince Cherry, but unfortunately this guy's a 52. I shouldn't have taken in the 1-star. And then if you ever get an agile athlete, he is going to be much better on the defensive line than the offensive line, or at linebacker, I'll make him a speed rusher. I will say it's nice to see Duke Fowler's a 70 overall halfback. I think he's going to start no matter what. And because we lost our tight end to the transfer portal, I'm going to see if Josh Henry goes up when he's moved there, and he does. Unfortunately, my lookalike's only coming in at a 64 overall, but with elite development, I'm starting him no matter what. And what I've learned is we have 2 free safeties, so one of them's probably moving over to strong safety. Connor Magnum's going to be a fun user, but for now, we're putting this guy over here. I would also like somebody taller like 6'4" Kelly Jones, which makes me want to move him away from cornerback, so we'll have that option as well. And I'm happy to say that after that period, I've received all my levels. I have 40 coach points to spend, so we can start to put it into this motivator tab. I've decided our wide receivers need to always get the off-season training boost. They won't get it this year, but they will next season. And then our DBs will as well, with our linebackers hopefully having that unlocked by the end of next year. This is my coach build so far. We still have a main focus on recruiting. Our coordinators seem to cover the motivating stuff mostly, and we'll see how it's impacted this team through training results. Going into year number 3, we're up to a 78, and I think we might actually be a true 78, or maybe more like a 75. I'm seeing lots of big jumps. It's going to be hard to justify sitting certain players. But then there's positions like wide receiver, where clearly the 2 players that are going to go up the most are Trey Ramsor and Juwan Markick. I also have to encourage some transfers, so that's what I'm going to be doing. Only 3 of them. This one's definitely going to hurt me, but it's been done, and the final player that's getting taken off the roster is Casey Quinn. You know what? I've decided we should probably do that to more players that aren't going to play for us, so maybe that'll help us recruit better in future years. For example, I just don't want an 84 speed corner. Same goes for Marlon Valentine. He started for us last season, but now he's being taken off the roster. And trust me, I do know that Kareem Bryant has 84 speed. I saw it, but he led the team in interceptions, so he can stay on our team. I'm actually really excited for next year with this 6'4" user. A decision at quarterback where I feel like I should start Devontae Newcomb, just because he has stuff like Field General and Magician as an ability, and he's an impact dev with some bigger skill caps, especially accuracies. Then at running back, I think we need to just start Duke Fowler. Again, this is a player that's going to have impact dev, and his skill caps are going to be so much better than what we're dealing with. Nick Smith, another true freshman, star dev, so there's a plenty of room for him to also go up. And the list goes on and on. In fact, it's so crazy we found a 3-star with elite development trait. That's never happened before, and even more of a coincidence, his last name's almost mine. I'm going to have to stop it there though. Season 3 will be in episode 3, and I'm just hoping that we can finally become bowl eligible during that year.